All right, what's up, everybody? Steven here, the Horror Freak 85, sinking into my skeletons, just like always. Tonight, we're going to be talking about Squid Game, the entire season in depth, all 9 episodes. So, if you haven't watched it and don't want to know any spoilers, well, don't watch or listen. Come back after you watch it, or if you don't care to hear what happened, then stick around.
Yeah. Don't say we didn't warn you ahead of time. At
Yes.
least we give warnings.
Yes, and very much spoilers. I got notes on every single episode, stuff, so.
Yeah, I just put. Oh, I'm blurry. Okay. Yeah, I just put notes, whatever I could think of. That wasn't like particular per episode, is more about characters.
Okay,
I
so
use mainly numbers because I didn't know if I could spell their names or say their names.
yeah, a lot of their names I'm probably gonna have trouble saying. I
Yeah.
don't know if you want to or not. If you want to bring up like the Internet Movie Database, like show their names,
Okay.
like, share the screen. I wrote them down, but like maybe you can show them
Yeah,
off
let me
too.
pull up IMDb. I am.
But yeah, the ones that I figured out what their numbers were, I put the numbers by them. So
Yeah, I mainly use numbers. I do have what I think their names were in my notes, but I feel horrible.
yeah,
But
it's like I'll try to pronounce them. I'm sorry, but I don't speak Korean, so I'm probably gonna butcher them. But yeah, that's why I figured you could just bring it up anyway. But I'll
yeah,
the
I'm pulling
the
it up
main
now.
guy, number 456, Juwon. They call him Song Juwon because of where he's from in the city. We got Park Haiso plays his friend Chao Sung Woo, who's going to be number 218. Then we have the police officer who's got a missing brother in it. His name is Wee Ha Jun, and he plays Jun Ho or Ho Jun Ho. Like I said, I'm gonna be horrible saying these names, but um, and then Hoyon is number 67, Kang Saebaek, which I'm probably just speaking gibberish, but yeah. Oh, here we go. There's the Internet Movie Database. You can see them all here. Or not. Let me see if I can bring it up more, maybe. Oh, nope. I just
Yeah,
brought it
it's
up.
tiny on my end. I'm not sure how to zoom it.
Oh, nope. Now it's just me. Okay. That didn't work.
Unless I click on each person, that would probably make it bigger. But that's
Yeah.
how big it's gonna be because I don't know how to make it bigger.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
I know there's a way to do it. I'm not sure how.
Hmm. Okay, well, we tried, but yeah.
Oh,
But I was.
this will be. How's that look? Does that look
Oh,
a
that
little?
looked a second ago. It looked a little bit better before it went to that. Um, I'll just read the ones that I got here. Let's see. Then we have Oh Young Soo. I guess is how you say his name. He plays Ilnam, who's number one, the old man in it, who we find out his secret later on. And there's like a lot of clues, which
Hmm.
I'll like go through stuff that happens that makes you think he's a part of it in some way. Um, let's see. Um, I forget what his number was. I think it was 111. Duke Sao, Jang Duke Sao, is
Oh,
played.
he was 101. You talking about the tattoo guy, the one
Yeah.
with the
Oh,
tattoo
why
on
did I
his
say? I
face?
didn't mean to say 111. I meant to say 101. Hey, there's 456 of them, so whatever. But yeah, he's the one with the
Yeah, and even though
tattoo.
there's 456, you only really get to know like a handful of them,
Yeah.
which obvious reasons why. But
Yeah, they're not going to be all about. I mean, there's 9 episodes, and it's the survivor of the games, pretty much. Um, Oh wait, who did I? Oh, that must have been someone else. Oh, okay. His name is Doxa. Oh, I do have 101. There was someone else with a different name that was like similar to his, but it was Jang Duoksu instead of just Doksu. I don't know, but yeah. So anyway, yeah, we'll get into some other numbers and names later if you want to.
Right, yeah, all the ones I've got notes on, I have numbers or like a description of it. Like I call, even though the old man is like number one, I usually in my notes I put old man because he's like literally the only really old man there is.
Yeah. So yeah, we can go ahead and take that off there, I guess, since it's.
I'll leave it. But yeah, you could stop sharing if you want, but
Or if you want to leave it up, you can. I'll add it later or
yeah,
whatever. But
we'll leave the little tab and we can flip back to it if we need it.
there we go. So let me just see. I was going to read what the description was real quick here. Let's see. For the description, it was just saying hundreds of cash-strapped players. They accept a strange invitation to compete in children's games. Inside, a tempting prize awaits with deadly high stakes. Then I think it's cut off. Oh, a survival game that has a whopping 45.6 billion won, which is their money in Korean, prize at stake. So yeah, basically everyone who's like lost money, gambling, debts, whatever the case may be. That's how
Yeah,
these.
most of them have like bad men after them for the money. So it's like I'm assuming like gang members or like they're mob type
Mafia
thing.
or whatever. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's why I say they're because I'm not sure if it's the Yakuza or not. So I just say they're type mob.
Yeah. So yeah, the first episode of the season is called Red Light, Green Light, which I'm sure most of us even played that as a kid, so we know what Red Light, Green Light is. It starts out as he's narrating like about when he was a kid, explaining what Squid Game was, how they play it, because it's shaped like a squid. There's the offense and defense, and then the offense can only as I lose my arm. It's so fun, just disappearing there. Um, there's the offense and defense. The offense can only hop on one foot until they get to a certain portion of the game, like in the middle, and then they
Yeah,
can.
it's like the middle, and then they have to run across what they call the neck of it.
Yeah. Um, and so Juhan, he's of course the main character. He lives with his mom, and she has kind of like a little mini store, and they're barely scraping by. I don't know if he works as a chauffeur, but I guess he had another job that he had lost. That later on we find out whatever
Yeah,
happened. I don't really remember
it's some sort
anything.
of he made car parts, so it was like a factory type job.
Yeah,
But it looked like maybe some sort of like union thing,
yeah,
but probably more their version.
yeah,
But yeah, there was a discrepancy in there, and there was a big fight. But we'll get into that later on,
yeah.
probably because
Because
he has a
that
flashback
was
of it
kind of,
later
yeah,
on.
that was in the like 3 or 4 whatever episode. I got a whole bunch of stuff written
Yeah, I have
down.
no
Yeah.
idea. I didn't go by episode. I just wrote notes. But yeah, it's later on when he's already playing.
In the middle of the game, yeah. And basically, he also, he's got a drinking problem and gambling problem. He owes lots of money. He has a daughter, that's ex-wife, that he wants to try to be there for.
Kind
And
of.
he sort of.
He does, but he doesn't.
Yeah. He even steals money from his own mom. I mean, he steals a bank card just so he can go gambling.
Yeah, to try to take her out, but then he ends up losing that money.
Well,
So
he wins, but there's a pickpocket who we meet later on who ends up being number
right, yeah.
67. I forget her name. I got written down, but we'll just call her the
Oh,
pickpocket for Sue.
yeah.
It's like Sue Buck or Buck or
Oops.
whatever, something along those lines. But yeah, he's at the
She's
race.
number 67. I do know that. I
Yes.
clicked on the wrong tab.
Yeah, she is
Um,
67. It's like Sue Bach or something like that.
Kang say Boy Bark Bach? Hell, I don't know.
Yeah, something like
We'll call her
that.
number 67. That was her number.
Yeah,
Or pickpocket.
yeah, that's what she was.
I keep
Unfortunately,
clicking on the wrong tab. There we go.
Yeah, unfortunately, she got pulled into the wrong people, and she's just trying to her mom, I'm not sure if it mentioned her dad or not, but I know her mom is like in the north of the country and she's trying to get her,
Her dad got killed trying to
yeah,
cross the river.
trying to cross over to South Korea. That I guess they were from the north.
Yeah, they're
And so the,
defectors.
yeah, so the brother's in an orphanage, and so that's why she gets pulled in, because she wants to get money to get her mom down and buy a house and take care of her family. So back to Juan, he's at the race. He won the money. He runs into her as he's being chased by the people who owe him money, and she like is fast and clever and can't. So she like cut out the money out of his pocket, and he gets chased into the bathroom by whoever these people are that he owes money to, and they're threatening to like cut him open and all this stuff. And then the one guy like shoved that thing up his nose and made him bleed or whatever, was like beating the crap out of him. And so he tells him that he's trying to, or he said he's got the money to pay him back, and then he realizes that that girl took his money, and he ends up crying and begging. And the guy was like giving him another chance, but that was it. And he even has the nerve to ask him
For more money.
for more money. And then he goes back to the girl at the racetrack where he had tipped 10,000 won to her, and he's like, "Can I get that 10,000 back?" Which is kind of funny. And that's what he uses to try to get a gift for his daughter, and he's like trying to win it out of this game machine, and he has
which is more gambling
which is more gambling. He's just losing the money, and this other little kid ends up helping him getting a prize out. But it's not really that great of a prize.
No.
He doesn't know what it is. Like, he doesn't know what it is. It's a box wrapped up. He's like, yes, he's thinking he's got his daughter a great gift, and ends up taking her to this cheaper restaurant after he thought that he had all this money that
it's like a street vendor.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like a street vendor or whatever. And when
like
he
gets food drug type of deal.
Pretty much, yeah, they were just sitting outside there, yeah. And the gift ended up being a little replica of a gun, and he was like, she didn't know what was going on. He was like, "Oh yeah, women can have it now," and this was like, "You'll be
yeah, they go in the military.
Can go in the military." And then when she pulled the he's like, "It looks real," huh? Or I mean, I think that's what it looks real. Then
something like that.
Fact, yeah, and it ended up being a lighter also. So she was like, "I don't think Mom can, let me have this. He'll be mad at you again." And ends up he said that it'll be better next year, and she gives a little hint. Well, you don't find out right away, but she's like, next year she knows something's going on. And after he takes her home, and of course, the mom's all upset being late, didn't pick up on time. And once he gets home, he finds out from his own mother that the stepdad's got a job in the US, and they're going to be leaving. And she wants him to straighten out, get money, and try to fight for his daughter. So that's going to be one reason before something else happens to her, why he wants to be in this competition. That what happens. He's approached while he's on the train. I guess it's like the next day or something, or night. I don't really know when it was, but he's approached by what they call the salesman. Offers
the salesman. I interrupt real quick. The salesman is the dad from Train to Busan.
Okay, so yeah.
I don't know what his real name is, and even if I look it up, I probably won't get it right. But he is the dad to that's in the Train to Busan.
Gong Yu, whether I'm saying it right or not, but I guess that's how you say it. Gong Yu is the salesman. So, and he's offered to play a game, and I think it was called Dajak or Dajik. I don't know how to say it, but there's like these red and blue square, kind of like envelope looking, but they're thick paper, and you throw it down and it flips it over. And if you flip it over to the other side, you win the game. And you gotta like bounce the paper off or I don't know, what would you say? It's kind of like
he has to like whip it down so it will flip over. And then if they're able to flip it over, then they win. And if not, they lose.
They lose. And the salesman offers him, I forget how much money.
I think it was 10,000, or might have been 100, something to that effect.
I think it was 100,000. It was something bigger than the 10 because he had won 10,000 or whatever. It was more than that, but whatever. He's just offering him money, and he loses, and he tells him, "Well, that's the problem. I don't have that money." And the salesman tells him, "Well, you can just pay with your body." And he's all confused by that. And then he ends up slapping him, and he said he'll take the 100 grand away each time that happens. And so he just keeps going for it again, again, and he's like beating he just keeps slapping him over and over
He's
because
slapping the shit out of him.
his face is like starting to turn red. Yeah, he's slapping the shit out of him, that's for sure. And he finally ends up winning, and he's like, all right, and he's ready to hit this guy, not knowing,
Yeah, he forgot about
that
the money. He was getting the shit bait out of him, so he forgot about the money. And it's like, my turn, because he's all excited. He's like, I'm gonna slap this
that's
bitch.
all he wanted was to hit him, but then he realized the guy had the money, so he was, shocked that he had the money, and he also gave him a card, offering him that there's more games that he could play to win more money, and it's just like left off of that just to like call the back of the number and everything. Let's see. You want to add anything to that while I'm looking over this real quick?
Um, I don't know if you want to go in order or not, but did you have a favorite game or out of all the games that they did?
Not the first episode. I kind of like the stepping stone, the last one when they
Oh,
were falling
gotcha.
through.
Yeah,
That was a fun one.
I would like red light, green light.
That was a good one too. Yeah.
Yeah, they're all pretty decent, but yeah, I would say red light, green light is probably my favorite out of all of them.
Well, that's pretty much when like the majority of them got eliminated right
Right,
then.
it's like you just you
Hmm.
don't expect what's going on. Is it just like them? Well, I think most of the audience kind of knew what's going on, but when think like the extent of it, I guess,
Hmm.
and then seeing their shock of just being, they just think they're getting eliminated. They don't realize eliminated means
It's
eliminated,
literally
and then
eliminated.
right, and then after several people get killed, and everybody's just being still. And then the old man just smiling, trucking along, because you think he's got dementia, and he plays like he's got
Well,
dementia.
he's got a tumor. Like he said, there
Yeah,
was
he
a
does have a
tumor. So
tumor.
he really is sick, but
I
he's not.
not to the extent.
Yeah, he's a little clever. Like, and it's kind of suspicious too. Like everyone's freaking out, and then you just see him going up like everything's normal. So it's like, what's
Yeah,
going
I
on
think
in
he's
his
trying
mind?
to play the dementia that way. Him enjoying himself doesn't look like he's an evil fuck.
Exactly. But yeah, when he got there, that's pretty much like the game at the end of the first episode when they get in. But these people, they all, he decides to call and meet up, and they're picked up in the van, and he sees that they're asleep, and he's thinking they're just tired. He's knocked out, so apparently they're taken to a location that they don't know of, which ends up being this gigantic island in like the middle of somewhere off the mainland that no one knows about. There's like this whole compound up there where they play the games, and that whole red light green light is basically what you said, and that's how the first episode ended, and like the top of the game or the building closed up, and you get a shot of the compound, and that's how the first episode ends there. So yeah.
Yeah, and that little girl, the little doll, which I added it in the thumbnail, is creepy as hell.
The one that turns a red light green light, yeah, it's a giant doll that turns around, and it's a computerized, and it monitors any movement of the people, and they're all just gunned down. And let us repeat the rules again, because they're all um because yeah, I put, I think when at each episode I put how many people were left after each game. The second episode is entitled Hell, and it starts out where the workers there, the employees in the red suits, they have circular or a circle or triangle mask on. You don't know any of these identities of these
There's also
employees.
squares. There's square, circle, and
Yeah,
triangle, and the
there's
little, we'll call them PlayStation people.
yeah, the PlayStation people is pretty much what they are. That's what I was thinking of. Like, they're the PlayStation, they're the PlayStation posse. But yeah, they're it shows them they're burning the bodies, and then whoever lived through the first game, there were out of the 456, there were only 201 left at the end of that first game. So pretty much half of, more than half were like gone through red light, green light. Uh, and we start to meet a little bit of them in the group there. They're all freaking out what's going on. We find our name later. Number 212. She's this crazy woman. She's older than she is, but she pretends that she's younger.
Yeah, I
And
think she's having a little bit of a mid like life crisis, and she wants everybody to like her. So she's extra, extra.
very extra. And she's like lying, saying she has a baby and she wants to get out of there. And like all the people start begging, oh, we didn't sign up for this. And um, they're offered. They were told that after the first round of games, how much money they would get. So there's like this giant piggy bank that comes down, and it's got the first portion of the money. And some people are tempted by it, and other people want to get the hell out of there. They don't know what's going on, and they don't want to risk their life for it. And when they had first signed up, I didn't mention there was a clause in it. There were like 3 rules that they read that they signed. One of them was they can't quit the game or they'll be eliminated, so they would be killed. But at the time they didn't know that. I forget what the first one was, but I know the third one was if a majority of them voted that they can quit the game, but it has to be the majority of them. So they decide to go ahead and take the vote because the employee says that that is acceptable. And they have the little PlayStation remotes, either a triangle or circle, it was an X and a circle to vote whether they want to
Mhm.
stay or be eliminated. So, of course, they all, the X was to quit and the circle was to stay. Um, and the majority decided, they wanted to end it. But it was like pretty close to it, though. I forget what the
It was
number was.
one
There
different.
was one difference,
Yeah,
and
there was
and the
one
last
person
vote,
that
the
lifted.
last vote was the old man
Mhm.
too. So, and he decided to end it. So, but of course, he was part of that. That was sort of planned to like get people to come back later or whatever. Not to think
Right, and if they
continue.
didn't go back, though, the money would have been distributed to the people who died's families. Like
Right.
nobody else would get it.
Yeah. So
So,
they would leave. So they would leave with nothing after
mhm.
they did that. And so, of course, uh, the majority won by the one vote of his. They all go back, and there are those who are pissed off about it, and uh, they were told that they may come back later if a majority want to come back and continue the game. But as of now, the game was over with. So they were all, you know, taken back, blindfolded, dropped off to wherever they live. It's kind of funny because Song Ju, whatever his name was, 456, was dropped off with the pickpocket. They're tied up together. He wants, and he's like, "Who's there?" Yeah, he sees it's her, and she's like, "Untie me," and she doesn't untie him because she's like, "Oh, you'll hassle me for the money and everything." So he's like stuck. That she finally unties him, and he even like so bad that he says he won't bother her. He swears on
Swears
his
on his mom
mother.
and says that he won't bother her or ask about the money.
Yeah. Um, and his friend 218 was dropped off with I forget the Indian guy's name, 199.
Ollie,
Yeah, Sully.
yeah,
They were dropped off together, and at first, people change throughout, but at first, they're friends and everything. But it changes in the future. But he helps him, gives him a money for a bus ride back to his part of town. Which Ali, I didn't say why his reason. He was working, of course, like at a factory too, and his boss wasn't paying him, and he even got injured. He like lost a couple of his fingers.
yeah.
So
I think it was 3 fingers was missing.
yeah. Oh, and which it plays a part later on for the tug of war of someone being strong. Forgot to mention that Ali he helped number 456, like he almost fell, and he's so strong he held him up with one hand.
Mm.
So they know he was strong, so that plays a part later on. So I forgot to mention that. So um yeah, so they all were helping each other, they're going back to their daily lives. And um Juan, he's all psyched out. He goes to the police station because he wants to report what was going on, and they're just laughing at him, thinking he's a drunk. Like, they don't believe him. They're like, okay, let me see this straight. So you're kidnapped. They let you go. And he's like,
Which the people who do it are smart. So if somebody wants to go to the cops, who's going to believe that story?
Exactly.
I mean, really, it's like you're kidnapped, but they allowed you to vote to go home.
And you
It's like you witnessed 100 people die, but they just
you played red light, green light, like all this stuff, and he's like, yes, I know it sounds crazy. So like, yeah, of course.
Yeah, which they are very smart. They gassed them, they put bags over the head, and so they can't see their way there. They can't tell where the location is. Everywhere, everybody wears masks, so they can't see or identify anything.
Yep.
And they're all like inside, so they can't identify the island or don't even know they're on an island. So, but they're inside, so there's like no identification.
Yeah, they don't know where they are. They don't know they're on an island.
They don't have a clue. So when they set them free, they have no information, and they sound like they're legit crazy. It's like, who would kidnap you and play like kids games for money and kill people? It's like, if this doesn't happen.
Yeah. And they even make a phone call, that card, and it's like a woman's phone number. It's like, or they act like it's just some random woman's number. And he was like, I want to play a game. And she was like, play games, you pervert, and so they make it look like it was just a normal phone number.
Right.
So that makes them look even crazier. And the police officer, there's a detective, Jun Ho. He's got a brother that's missing, that we sort of hear about in this episode. He heard that story and he was like, oh, what's with all the crazy people after I'm just gonna say 456 left. I'm just gonna go by numbers once we say their name,
Yeah.
So after he left, he heard about the card and everything, and so he goes off, and when he's looking for his brother, he stops at the apartment and he finds that same card that 456 was talking about. So he starts to wonder, what's going on with that. He sort of believes that there might be some truth to it. At 456, after, like, when he returns home and everything, he finds out that his mom is in the hospital and has diabetes, and that she's going to need surgery. Her foot's like all swollen up, nasty, and he wants to help her. So that's like another reason.
Yeah, because she's going to have to get it amputated.
Yeah, going to have to get it amputated. And he decides, it's put in his mind he should go back to get this money to help his mom. And also, his daughter's going over. So like, it's just everything's piling on top of each other. Just his whole life is falling apart. Even goes to his ex-wife asking for the money to help, and the stepfather ends up coming in, and he's going to give him the money once they're outside, but he wants him to stay away from his wife and never contact them again. And
basically give that money and pay to
as a payoff to go away. So, and that just infuriates him more, and he's like, you think money solves everything, knocks him dead, punches him in the face. He's all pissed off, thinking that money can.
Which at that point, I think his motivation has changed a little bit. Originally, it was just himself and the money. Of course, he claims it's for his daughter, but I think it was still just himself. Then once he realized how bad his mom really was, I think that's what kind of changed in him. Is like, I need to start manning up and taking care of my mom and doing this. And I think it was like a reality check that he really needed. Is like, I need to step up and do this.
Mm-hmm. And what's weird also, while he's in town there, he runs into number one, which is kind of weird. Like, what are all the odds of running into the old man?
Yeah.
And he talks with him, and they start drinking together, and he tells him that he was there seeing a friend, that he doesn't live nearby. So it's like, okay, this old guy has a friend right where he is.
Yeah, I think that was because they knew where he lived, the 456. So that had to been like a plan, or to try to push to get
try to coerce him into coming back and
Yeah.
everything. So that's why he did that to, get him back in the game.
Of course, that's not implied or explained, but that's just like a theory. But it has to be that he had to be.
Once you know everything that's going on and you go back and you see certain things, it's like, okay, yeah, that's got to be connected in some way.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's, to me, everything's connected, and there were some other points later on. I'll say some other stuff, but and then we go to 101. Like, it shows a little bit of each character, what they're up to before the next
Yeah.
episode, like the main ones. 101, I guess he's like in some sort of mob or gang but he ended up stealing from his boss, and he wants to try to convince
Like his right hand man, we'll call
man,
him.
yeah, his right hand man, to go back to the game, telling him where this money is, and he wants to rob them.
Tidbits.
I think he meant titbots, but it
Yeah, I
probably
think
was
so too.
typo. Squid Game tonight. Squid
Right.
Bits tonight.
When did it change from nipple bots to tit bots anyway, just out of curiosity? Are we like interchanging them?
I don't know.
I don't know. I was asking him. I was just out of curiosity. It don't matter to me what we call them, but I was just curious.
Tit bots, nipple bots.
Same thing.
The the tit bots have nipple bots. There we go. Nipple bots on the tit bots. Tiplets.
Or tit bots.
Little itty bitty tit bots. But yeah, what I was saying was, how his right hand man, he's trying to convince to come rob him and get the money, and he's like, no one believes him, and we know what you did in the Philippines or something that
Yeah, I
had
think
happened.
the squid tits.
Squid it.
Yeah, I think that's when he brings up the Philippines. I think that's where they were talking about where he embezzled his boss, basically, or ripped
Right.
off his boss or whatever.
So they're gonna kill him. He escapes though, but he ends up killing his so-called right-hand man who betrayed him. And while the other people were trying to chase him, he jumps off the bridge. Which he survived. It wasn't like too high up or anything, because he ends up, of course, coming back in the game regardless. So he just wants to win for himself. So they start getting other cards to come back. All of these people. And as it gets closer to the end, after that incident, the cop, what was his name again? If I can say it,
Well, I'll
Junho.
just call him detective.
All right, we'll just call
Because
the
technically, he's the only really cop in this movie, so just call him detective. That's
yeah.
what.
So we'll just call
When I
him.
was trying to explain episodes to to him, I was just calling him, detective, or I
Yeah,
had
there
like
we go.
little description phase, a
There we go.
tattoo guy, or
Exactly. There's all
old
the
man
descriptors.
tattoo guy, main dude,
Crazy chick, extra chick, whatever. Yeah.
crazy chick, yeah.
Pickpocket. If you see it, if people have seen it, you know what we're talking about. Or
Which I have never watched with the subtitles. I've always watched dub because I rewatched I binged the whole episode yesterday so I could get refreshed. But both times I've watched dubbed. I have heard, which I have not watched to confirm it, but I've heard if you watch with subtitles, she's actually worse. Like if you
one
read
the extra
everything
chick.
she's actually saying, she's a little bit more crazy. I don't think they either didn't translate everything, but like I said, it's just what I've heard. I've not confirmed it. I don't know. But I guess a lot of stuff that she says didn't either translate well or they calmed it down a little bit. But I don't know. I'd have to watch and confirm it, but
Oh,
just
so for the dubbed one, there was just more to it than the English dubbed one, or the actual Korean one where you,
right, yeah, the actual Korean one supposedly has a little bit more of her craziness to it. But like, I've never watched it with subtitles. I've always watched dubs, so I don't know what it's said differently. But which this could all just be a rumor and not be true too. I don't know. I've never
I
confirmed
might
it.
go back and watch the regular one with the subtitle. Well, I watched the English one, but I put subtitles up because the subtitles, like whenever it showed some writing in Chinese, or I mean Korean. I'm sorry, not Chinese, Korean. They're all the same. Oh nope, did I just say that? Oh, we're gonna get up. No, but what would Top say? Sorry about my foul. Oh, okay.
Are you censoring yourself, or did YouTube censor? That's what I want to know.
I think Hobbs might have. I don't know. That's weird because
Yeah, that's why I was curious if, because you don't have to censor yourself. You could say pretty much, as long as it's not against TOS, you could say pretty much whatever you want. At least, as far as I'm concerned.
I think pretty much everything's been said on this channel.
Right? Yeah, that's why I was wondering if, just out of curiosity, if he censored it.
Now YouTube's censoring us. What the fuck?
Why would they do that? They would never censor.
The tit bots, nipple bots are going to be barred out.
Yeah, that'd be taken down for sure.
Oh boy. But what was I lost?
I forgot where we were.
Oh, the detective vice was saying how the detective shows up at 4:56 and confronts him and asks him about the game and the card. And he said how his brother had the exact same card and what's going on, help me. And he goes, oh, I was drunk, I found it, why would you want me to help you? And he just like denied the whole thing, acted like he was drunk because he wants to go ahead and return to the game after all this stuff that had happened to him and running into the old man and his mom. And so he just didn't even bother with the detective.
Right, at that point, because I forget what happens, but he feels, I think that's when he feels like, he can't help his mom, and he just feels like he's worthless. So he feels like, I'm no good to anybody, basically, is what he feels like at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, why would you want me to help you?
Right. And it shows all the people who have got the card. Well, not all of them, but a majority of them going back, being picked up by these drivers, gassed. But number 67, the pickpocket, she was pretty clever and she pretended to be knocked out. She wasn't really knocked out by the gas. She had held her breath or.
Yeah, she kind of had her nose covered up.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. She probably would have had to hold her breath too, I'm assuming. But she did have like her shirt or something pulled up over her nose to help her keep that gas out.
Yeah. And she was pretended to be knocked out the whole way. And the officer or detective, whatever, officer detective, that's his name, officer detective at your service, whatever you want to call him. He ends up following the van, and that's pretty much how it ends. He's following them, and 67 pretends to be knocked out, and that's basically the end of the second episode. So. The third episode is The Man with the Umbrella. And that one, the detective is still following these vans, and we're seeing multiple vans going up to this dock. Let's see. I would never censor myself at all level. Hobb said he would never censor himself at any level. Oh no.
Right. Yeah, this was apparently his phone, because he's using speech to text. So apparently his phone censored him. So it wasn't YouTube. His phone censored him.
Mm-hmm. Oh, his phone censored, probably the voice text, maybe.
Yeah, that's what under my understanding, because he's driving. So his phone text, voice to text.
Oh, well, what's funny is there's a song that Jack Black sings, Tenacious D, but Fuck Her Gently. And like when I said that to play on my Apple Music, it goes, F star her gently. Like it doesn't, or whatever the song is, it won't say the F word. It's a star. Like, F star star K gently. So I guess that's why maybe his voice text had edited it to stars. I don't know.
That's funny.
Uh, like I never heard that before. I'm like, okay, so I can say it, but it says F star star K gently. Little fun fact there, yeah. uh, anyway, so they're pulling up to the ship, and you see all the vans and all the players coming back, and the PlayStation posse, we'll call them, since you said that, is coming out, and they got a barcode they're scanning. Apparently, I guess the players before they put a chip in because they're scanning all the players. They have all their information.
I'm thinking it's in the helmet because
Well,
of
for the
later on.
the helmet for the workers, but for the players, remember that it looked like they had
Oh,
something on their
okay.
name.
I misunderstood. I thought you were talking about the workers.
But
Gotcha.
yes, their numbers are, I think, in their helmets. That's how it is because he pretends to be one of them. The detective actually knocks one of
Yeah,
them out.
that's why I was bringing it up. I was like, I think it's in their helmets because he didn't
Yeah,
get like injected with anything to get or put tattooed or whatever it was.
right.
But
Well, because as he went into, he saw how they were checking out the players, and so he gets into one of the vehicles. Might have even been this. Well, no, I don't think it was the same one as 67. Probably the one behind.
I
But he
don't
was.
think it shows the passengers, so I'm not sure. So
But yeah, he
maybe I don't
pretended.
know.
But yeah, regardless, he decided to pretend that he was one of the players, and the PlayStation posse dudes was like trying to scan him, and it wasn't working because he wasn't one of the players, and so he knocks him out and throws him overboard, and takes the mask and pretends that he's one of
His
the
outfit.
employees. Yeah, his whole suit and mask. F star star star. That's funny. Damn voice text. Editing it out. So so yeah, the detective is now trying to get his way in as pretending to be one of the PlayStation posse. So yeah. And as they're all taken to this location, the employees, they are, stripping them down, taking their all their belongings, phones, watches, whatever, and putting their numbered suits back on, and they're all the same number that they were originally. Their numbers haven't changed. And so we have 67 who, wasn't knocked out. She had smuggled in a knife, and when the guy took the knife, she's so quick, she just pickpocketed it right back.
Mm-hmm.
So that way she could defend herself or use it while she was there. Let's see. And then we find out that the total of them that returned out of whatever the 200 was, 187 returned. They later even decide to team up. Uh, let's see. Okay, we find out that the detective, his employee barcode number is 29. So him and 28 uh, are supposed to be like these divers. They're like they do all their assignments together. We'll get to that later, but
Yeah.
uh, so it's kind of weird that like he's supposed to be this person and they still think it's him for a while, and he doesn't know what's going on, so he's trying to like figure out what's going
Which I
on and
think
just,
number 28 caught on pretty quickly because he steps out of the room. You see him, well, you hear him coughing, and you find out what that is later on. But you hear
yeah,
him coughing like immediately. I believe it was after the first night. And then when he steps out, 28 just looks at him, and then he feels like he's looking, so he looks back and looks away. So at least I think it's like in the retrospect in the beginning. But I think 28 picked up something wasn't right
yeah,
right away.
yeah, there's something up with 29. And while they were in there that first night, um, what was that crazy woman? The extra woman, whatever her number was.
212. She's 212.
Oh, there we go. I do have 212 right there. I did write that.
Hong Min Yo, I believe her name was, but we'll just call her 212
Yeah.
because I don't know how right that is.
Or
But
extra.
yeah, crazy lady.
Yeah. She's
Because she's
like,
really the only crazy one there.
yeah, she is. Well, yeah, pretty
Well,
much.
kind of to
Well,
that.
crazy as in crazy, but not like psycho killer crazy.
Yes.
Because the other people, yeah, there's some other
Oh
crazy.
yeah, there's different versions of crazy.
And
But
then
yeah.
once they're put through so much of these tasks and seeing people die, of course, their views change also. Like,
Hmm.
so. But yeah, she's like screaming how she has to go to the bathroom, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna pee on the floor, puddle, all right." And she's like trying to get them out, and they finally, pay attention to her. And then number 67, the pickpocket, goes right up with her and she's hiding in
Slips
the
right
bathroom.
in with her.
Like, and she's all pissed off, like, "What are you doing? I've
Like,
been."
I begged for this, and you're just gonna sneak in.
Yeah. And it turns out 212, she smuggled in some
Cigarettes.
cigarettes and a lighter. Yeah, which the lighter helps out later. Yeah, she hit him up inside and it got him pulled him out. And yeah, she was smart in that way. Uh, the lighter does come into play, of course, later on. And so she's in the bathroom smoking. And number 67, she has her knife and she wants to try to explore what's going on. So she goes through the vents to see what she can find out. And she sees them like cooking something being melted and she can smell it. And this takes, she doesn't realize it, but this is going to be part of the game where they're melting honeycomb and putting different shapes on there, which I'll get to in just a few minutes. And then she comes back just in time as like the PlayStation posse trying to bust in, see what's going on, and crazy lady,
Yeah,
she's
because
all
she's making a whole show the whole time because she's like,
she's like, "Don't come in
keep
here."
it stalled while I go explore. So
That's all.
the lady, she's making a whole scene
She's
about everything.
saying how there's no toilet paper and using the water and like, "Don't come in here," blah blah blah, and freaking out. And they do come in, but she number 67 is down just in time, so she didn't get caught going out. And she didn't really know what was going on. She said she would tell her the next day. And whenever the game comes, one guy's from 456, his friend, which I think was
218.
218, he sort of like knows what's going on, but he doesn't say anything
Yeah.
about the honeycomb, about how when they're brought to the game room, they're told to stand in front of a shape. There's a circle, a triangle, a star, and an umbrella. That's why I entitled "The Man with the Umbrella." He ends up 456 ends up picking the umbrella. Uh, what number was the dude with the three fingers? What was his name again?
199. Allie.
199. Yeah, I thought I had his number down. He got the circle because it reminded him of the moon, and then they find out it's in that honeycomb, and they got to like scrape it out, get the shape out without breaking it apart. And if they break it apart, they're eliminated. So an umbrella, that's kind of hard. They had, I think it was like 30 minutes, I believe. It wasn't that
Something
long.
to that effect. I don't remember what the time was, but yeah. We'll go with that.
I want to say 30 minutes maybe was the time. And they're like trying to scrape it out. And crazy woman, she was cheating. She used the lighter on the needle to heat it up. So she was like melting the star across to get it out so she could continue on. And of course, throughout, people are getting shot because they're breaking their pieces and then begging, like, "Oh, it's not fair," blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And 456 gets the idea. He looks like he can melt it. He starts licking it to like soften, melting it up. So, so there's other people. And this is like, time is getting really close by the time he figures this out.
I think it's like 10 down to 10 minutes.
Yeah,
or maybe slower, 5 to 10 minutes.
Somewhere between 5 to 10 minutes, but it's cutting it really close.
Yeah.
And so other people,
especially having to do all that without breaking it.
Yeah, and he saw that going through it, he could lick it and it would help melt it. And other people tried to do it in time. And some it worked for, like the old man. It ended up working for him, and he was lucky enough um, to get, well, not that we like him, but not knowing at the time, we're like, oh yeah, he's good. He made it, and um, crazy lady gave 101 Snake Eye tattoo the lighter because she wanted to be on his, be with him since he's strong. And like I said, they're trying to sort of pick alliances, so they can figure out what's going on, or so they can survive.
Yeah, I think, well, one, I think she was attracted to him, but another, I think she kind of felt that she could control him in a way.
Yeah, she wanted to use him a little bit.
Yeah,
That was
she
her plan.
definitely wanted to use
She
him, and
wanted
I
to
think she
seduce,
thought she could manipulate him to do what she wanted.
use, and lose.
Basically, yeah.
All she wanted. Yeah, that is all her plan. Uh, let's see. Told that with the lighter. They find out about the licking it. 119. Oh, okay. So that's basically they hear that's like coming to the end of that episode. With them, while they're downstairs, they see the rest. Or they hear the gunshots of the others being executed, and worker 29, who was actually the detective, he came in. He like sort of outed himself because he was supposed to come in after to dispose of the bodies. That was his assignment, and of course, him not being the real 29 didn't know
Not
that.
know where he was supposed to go. He just like followed everybody else, and he's like, "Why are you here?" And he's like, got confused.
Exactly. Yeah. So it pretty much ended with Adam saying, "We'll talk about your confusion of what's going on, or else you're going to be out of here." So that was the end of that episode. And the fourth one is called "Stick to the Team," and that's basically when they were all what I was saying, how they want to team up and survive. Was there anything about the Umbrella episode you wanted to talk about the game, or any thoughts that you had, or anything?
By this time, I'm pretty sure we've seen the coffins. What do you think about them looking like presents?
Yeah, that's weird. It was actually kind of ironic. It looked like the game that the kid that he got his daughter.
Oh, yeah, true. I didn't think about
It was
that.
that the exact same ribbon
True.
color that the gun was in.
True. And detective dude, well, I don't know if we've got to this point yet because I don't remember what episode it shows, but when detective is looking for his brother, he's in this room with a bunch of files. He finds another box that is wrapped that is connected to his brother. So
yeah, that's later on, but they're all the boxes are kind of similar.
True. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
That's a good connection.
You see the
I was just like, why did they got like Christmas presents that they're catching on fire? Well, obviously, and they're not Christmas presents, but they're wrapping the bodies up like that.
Yeah. So, this one, it starts out, we see 111 being led away from the group. This guy is a doctor, we find out later on. We don't know what's going on, why he's being taken to the side. And after the honeycomb one, 187 of those players went down, so there was 108 remaining after the honeycomb game. The players after that, they go to, they're given a meal and a drink. 212 and 101, they cut back in line, which causes a whole bunch of commotion because there's supposed to be enough food for just one.
Yeah, they make an exact amount for everybody.
And they end up getting a couple of them. And a woman, 198, they don't ever tell her name, I don't think, but she rats them out, and there's another player, 271, that gets upset, and they start fighting about that, and 101 ends up beating the crap out of them and killing the guy. And they don't do anything about it. Like, they just come in, and they're all just like, player 271 has been eliminated.
Right, yeah, because they want the other players to see what's going to happen next. I think so. they want
What they
that.
can get, what they can get away with, they don't care. They want them.
Right,
They
yeah.
want the stronger ones to kill out whoever, the weaker ones there. So the
Right. Yeah,
numbers
because
go
this is
down.
really what comes next is kind of a part of it too, because
Mhm.
they initiate that it was all planned to get this initiated and started. What
Yep.
comes after this?
Yep. Uh, so they bring. We see 111 who was pulled aside. He starts like removing organs from a body, which we're not really sure why, but he's doing something for these people, and they're feeding him information on the next game, giving him extra food, stuff like that. We find out later on. Um, let's see. So they're talking about. They go back up to everybody in the room, and they're discussing what's going on and how they didn't do anything.
Excuse
Bless
me.
you. How they didn't do anything about the death, and so they figure they should stick together, form a team if anything happens, because they figure if they can get away with murder, they're going to try something again later.
Right, because well, also after they see that, they announce so and so's number was eliminated. I forget what number he was.
271, yeah.
And then the piggy bank starts, getting money in it. So they're like, oh, they don't
Well,
have to die in the game. They can die in here and we could kill them. And it goes
get
on to that. So,
get the
yeah,
money.
they
So
want this, or the
they
people
want this
who
to
run
happen.
this are intention, wanting this to happen. So
Yeah.
they want them to see that you can kill somebody in the little area that they're forced to live in.
And still get money for
Yeah.
get that person's portion of the money. So,
Right.
and 456 was trying to get number 67 to join them. If anything happens, he told her to come to their side and stick together. Uh, and like whatever time after bedtime, 101, him and his group, they start. I think he had a knife. No, he took the knife from someone, or they got like pipes. They were just like getting whatever
Yeah,
they
I
could
know they
get.
had pipes.
Yeah, they were
I
just
don't
like
remember what else they had, but I know they had pipes.
they were just attacking people and beating the hell out and just killing people since they knew they could get away with it. It was pretty much an all out just killing people.
Mm-hmm.
And during it, um, let's see what number two. I forgot
Which
the
guy?
name. Three finger guy. All that.
199.
I don't know why I don't have that written down here.
Yeah,
Oh, I do.
199.
199. 199. 199, 218, all the friends in their group and everything, all of them together. Um, they're trying to find the old man. 456 is looking for him. And all of a sudden, like, throughout all this chaos, he's up on these beds and he's like begging for them to stop, saying they're all going to die in here. I'm scared. Please make it stop. And after going back and watching and seeing again, another weird connection is when he said "make it stop."
They stop.
Stop it. The front man is what he's called, but he has a different mask. He stopped the whole thing, so that's kind of like a little connection there. Him listening to the old man because the old man is the one that's part of it. That's in a higher position than the front man.
Yeah.
So. Um, so let's see, it brought it down. I was trying to see the number. Oh, okay. So after all that chaos of them being murdered and everything, brought the players down to 80 players now after all that. So they got all their portion of that money. Uh, then we got later on after the chaos, 212 and the crazy woman and 101. They end up hooking up in the bathroom, and of course, she was seducing and wanted to, that was her plan all to begin with, to use him. And she finds out his name and was saying how they should stick together. And his name was what was it, Duke Sue, and he says they'll work together to the end, and she's like, "Oh yeah, thanks, baby." Blah blah blah.
Yeah, she keeps calling him baby because I think she thinks
And
that
old
he
man,
wants that type of girl.
yeah, baby, and old man, and all that stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was kind of funny. What is it? She says she's like I can do anything, but when I'm not good at it, or I'm good at everything except I'm good at everything except when I'm not. Like, okay,
Well, kind of technically true. You're good at everything that, besides the things you're not good at. So,
yeah,
she ain't lying.
yeah. But she's
She just
trying to
makes
say
it
how she's
sound good.
better than 67, stronger and all that. But like right after he says that they're going to stick together, that's a lie. He finds out through the doctor what the next game is, and he knows that he'll need all men because he needs strong players for this. And the game turns out it's going to be tug of war.
Mm-hmm.
Am I echoing? Hello?
What?
I heard
Yeah, I
myself
hear you.
echoing. No, I'm
Oh,
like echoing.
oh,
I don't know why. You don't hear an echo?
a little bit now. I didn't hear it at first, but yeah, a little bit now.
Like it just started up.
Yeah.
Weird. I don't know. All right. Oh well, I guess you'll hear it twice again. Echo. It's titties all over again.
Just not as bad.
Yeah, I think I'm good now. Testing. Testicles. Okay. uh, but yeah, the game's going to be tug of war. I don't know why I'm echoing. I hear it again. That's kind of annoying. I don't know. Oh well, I guess I'll just talk, and I don't know. Maybe I'll come back if it gets too bad. It's not. It's not that bad, is it?
No, not really. I barely hear it until you bring it up. So, but I don't have the greatest hearing in the world either. But
Hmm.
how's your internet? Is it kind of spotty? Or you got any storms going on or anything?
I mean, it rained earlier today. It was storming. So, oh well. Anyway, whatever. Wasting time just rambling on the echo. But so they split them up into teams of 10, and since uh, the crazy woman was trying to be on his team, he refused her, and she was all pissed about that. And she ended up weaseling her way on to 456 and within their group, and they weren't sure about finding men or women because they didn't know what the game could be. And
Yeah.
if it was
And this culture is really misogynist. So they're like, we don't want girls, because men are better kind of thing.
stronger,
But it's the culture, but unfortunately, but yeah, because they were just like, oh, girls can't, especially 218. He's just like, well, we don't want girls. We already got an old man. We don't want girls. People are not gonna think that we could do anything. And then they ended up getting three girls, and he's just like, oh god, and we're not gonna be able to do nothing because we have three girls and an old man. But
yeah.
456, he kept saying, but we don't even know what the game is
What
yet.
if it's
We don't
something
want to
women are good at?
discriminate yet. But
Exactly.
he was at least looking, like, on trying to look on the brighter side. It's like, these might help us. These, no matter what they are. But yeah, he was horrible. It's just like, we don't want no girls. But
Yeah.
it wasn't just him. There was a lot of people that was
Well,
there.
there was
But like,
even another team besides that one that was all men that wasn't with 101.
right.
Like a lot of them.
And even part of other people that was part of the group that they'd brought in for that because they had to get a group of 10. It's like other ones that they had found out randomly. They were just, mad because they had girls on the team.
Yeah.
But that's just the culture, the way it is.
But yeah, it turned out what they thought would be, uh, all men's strength. It didn't really matter for tug of war. But it turns out, of course, that they won. The 101 guys team. They were playing tug of war up on a tower, and whoever pulled them, the flag won. The other would fall to their death. So that's how they eliminated 10 more at a time. I think there was 8 teams out of them because 10 each. There were 80 left at the time. So they eliminated a few of those teams. and 456's team was up against another team that was all men, and they're like freaking out at first. And uh, 101 was like, "Oh, too bad, I wanted to kill you," and he couldn't wait for them to be gone, and he was thinking that they were going to lose. The old man was saying how he always won tug of war as a kid, and he gave them some technique how they need to be left right on each side, hold it under their armpits, and lean back and try to stay steady for 10 seconds, and they won't budge, and it'll psych out the other team, like why can't we get them to move,
Right, and then start freaking out, and
and then
then the
loosening.
person in front has to pay attention to see how they're doing it and take
Mhm.
advantage of any time they slip up.
Right, it's loosening up, and it seems to work at first, and then they start getting pulled forward, and they're starting to lose, and it looks like they're going to fall to their doom. And the friend, 218, has an idea. He's like, take 3 steps forward when I tell you to. And they're all freaking out. They're like, what's, he's like, just trust me, take 3 steps. So they start to take the 3 steps. And then that was the end of that episode. So that literally ended on a cliffhanger, right? On that episode. Uh, so the fifth episode was called A Fair World, and it starts off right where they were, in the tug of war match, how they were starting to lose, and 218 was telling them, trust me, take 3 steps forward towards the edge. They do that, and since the other team is pulling so hard, when they take that step forward, like it sort of loosens their grip up, and they all trip. So that
Right.
so that trips them up, and they're able to pull them off once they've fallen. So that like last minute quick decision saved their life. So they ended up
Yeah.
winning. It was a combination between the old man's technique, which saved them in the first place,
Yeah.
and
And
218.
then 218 thinking to trip them, make them fall, and then hurry up, and even though 456 almost falls off the
But
edge.
they saved him, of
Yeah.
course, and the other ones. And they're like hanging over, but they have like the guillotine that cut the rope in half because they were already down there, so they lost. So they just, cut them off and let them fall to their death. So yep, they won that, and after all the tug of war matches, it brings them down to 40 players remaining uh, in the game. And when they go in there, of course, 101, he can't believe that they're still alive.
Right.
He thought they would fall to their doom. And they're still kind of worried. 456, their team, that something else might happen that night. Just like, again, they might still try to, bring these people down because that's all they seem to care about. Killing
The weaker
the weaker
ones.
ones.
The
And
weakest link. No.
you are the weakest link. Goodbye. Goodbye. But 101 does have like a little conversation to 456 because 456 was saying how they should build like a little protection for around them, that way they can stay alert and have a couple of them at a time, take turns doing a shift, making sure no one comes over and tries to attack
Yeah,
them
and
while
then he
they're
gets
sleeping.
in his heads like, how much can you trust these people? How do you know that they will not backstab you? So he gets in his head, so he's just like, we're not gonna do anything tonight. We're all right.
He tells them that how can you trust those scumbags, like that if I were you, I'd attack you first. You're the strongest
Yeah, right.
one.
Yeah,
So
get rid of the strongest ones. That way, it's easier to compete in these games.
yep. So 101 decides, he tells the people, they're just going to sleep tonight and take just rest and rest up for the game, whatever the next game may be. And this is in this episode. This is the one where we learn more about number 111, the doctor, what he's doing, why they're telling him what the next game is, giving him extra food. He's helping them like remove organs of some of the dead bodies that aren't too destroyed, and they're selling organs basically in the black market.
Right, yeah. And
And
some of them, they're not, if they're not all the way dead, because sometimes I think you have to take an organ out if they're not like completely dead. I
Yeah.
think. I don't know. I don't
Well,
do
there
that
was
stuff,
one that
obviously.
had fell off. I forget if it was in this episode or what game it was, but someone who wasn't like they were dead, or they weren't quite dead yet. He was like still kind of unconscious from the fall. They put like a little blood cross on it when they dropped him down, so they knew he was alive, so they could take out
Yeah,
the
and they
one.
also talk about in the operating room about one like being a zombie and like coming alive and like freaking them out and
Yeah. And this is where also 28 and 29 come in. They're like diving partners. They deliver the organs. I guess there's like a secret tunnel that they take it through, and they're part of whoever in the PlayStation posse is like taking advantage of what's going on to sell organs to make extra money, because the higher ups aren't really aware of what's going on. They're doing this own little secret side business of selling organs on the black
right.
market. Um, and 29, he's almost exposed at first, because I forget they were talking about like he had disposed of the real 29 disposed of a body, and he didn't know that, and they were like, well, you were there, and they're starting to argue, and the doctor like shuts them up so that way they don't go any further of what's going on, of the
Right.
suspicion of like 29 what's going on, because he wants to have quiet while he's operating on the body. He's like, I'll
He
cut this
saves
kid.
them without meaning to save them. He just wants them to shut the fuck up so he can do his job. He
Yeah,
doesn't realize, he's actually saving this guy's life
yeah,
because he would be
yeah,
saving his
yeah,
life.
he didn't know who he was. So that was kind of a lucky accident on his part there.
Yeah.
uh let's see. And once after they leave, they're supposed to go ahead and like deliver the organs. What's going on there? He wants to know what the next game is, and they don't know what it is yet. So he's like pissed off and freaking out, and he's all like, "Fuck! I've done everything that you told me." And he takes like one of them hostage with their gun, or threatens to kill him if he doesn't find out the game. Uh, but the employee tells him that there's something in his pocket, a key to the office, like to find out the game, or I forget what the whole situation was. And he ends up attacking the doctor. And there was like this whole struggle, and he runs off, ends up escaping them. And this is how,
Because he's got like a scalpel to him, and he's like, get
yeah,
the keys out of my pocket. So I think he's trying to get him to move in a different way. That way he can kind of overtake him
yeah.
and get the situation changed.
And then we find out a little bit more about 28, 29. Uh, that 28 knew 29 wasn't real. When they're going down the secret tunnel to go out, uh, they mentioned like the diving incident, and what was that? I can't remember exactly what happened, but he ended up taking a gun to him because the detective brought his gun, and he tries to get more information so he can like send to his chief, because he's like texting him throughout. Um, and he hears about the VIPs. That's like the first time there's
I don't
these
think
VIP.
he's texting him throughout. He's making notes in like
Well,
a
he's making
notepad.
notes. He's making notes, but later on he texts it, or he sends it.
Yeah, because when he
That's
does
what it
get a
was.
hold of him, he's like, I
He was
haven't
making
heard from
notes.
you in like forever or whatever. So yeah, I don't think he's really texting,
Yeah,
but
not
he's
texting. Well,
making
there was
notes,
that
taking
signal
pictures,
too.
making videos,
Yeah,
getting
that's what
evidence.
I meant. Not text notes. I meant,
Yeah.
but he hears about the VIPs uh, for the first time, because there's like a bomb, and the guy's asking like, "Why are you asking so many questions?" And he finally unmasks him, and the employee tells him about how there's like uh, files on all the people, because he's trying to find his brother, and he ends up just killing this guy. The detective just kills the guy anyway. He got his information,
Right.
so
You
that's
don't know if this guy's gonna backstab him or not.
exactly. Uh, let's see.
But that's where he
Also,
finds out more information in this room, is where he finds out more information about his brother.
yeah, that's I believe in the next episode, and after that episode, the doctor and those employees, they get caught for what they're doing by the front man, and Uh,
That's what one thing I say that I liked about it, because he's like, I don't care if you eat them, fuck them, or something else,
yeah,
or chop them up and sell them. I don't care. I don't care about that. But you
but
will
it's
not cheat in this game.
yeah,
It's like all that was for nothing. All they had
yeah,
to do was like, hey, I want to make some money. They could ask permission. So all that was for nothing.
yeah.
But since they took that doctor and cheated,
So they all got shot and killed. So that was pretty much the end of that one. And uh, they wake up all the people. There's like an alarm going off, and it's gonna be like setting up for the next game, and also a warning of what happened of them cheating. Um, and that was the end of that episode. Next one, I'm not sure if I'm gonna say this right. Uh, Gambu, or it was like a term that is used, which I'll tell later, but I think I'm saying it wrong. It's spelled G or Gandu. I don't know. GGANBU, but whatever.
I'm sorry. Which one was I was trying? I was doing Morse code with my
Doing with
dino light. So, because the oven was going off and he has headphones on, so I'm just like, eh.
oven.
So I
Oven.
was. I don't know if I was showing on there or not, but I was doing Morse code, trying to get his attention so he get the oven. But which one was it? I might have their number.
No. It's the episode title. It's called Gambu or Gambu. I'm
Oh,
not
oh,
sure what it was.
yeah, I know what you're talking. It's
I'm not
basically
sure.
his the friends. Well,
It's a term which I'll mention what it is. Yeah, but that was the title of that
yeah.
episode. Uh, and this is where the fourth game begins, and it's like continuing on from what happened with the doctor in the last episode. All the players they're led into the game hall. Uh, they see four bodies hanging up there. The doctor and three employees because they had cheated and broke the rules. Um, and they're explained. They hear over the speaker what's going on about how it's supposed to be fair, and that's why they're been eliminated. And the detective, it goes through also the next scene, like certain stuff is going on throughout. It'll go back to the detective and the game, going back and forth. He went to that file room that the number 28 told him about, and he's finding out about all these people, and uh, he sees his brother's name in there as well.
You also see there's bunches of years on this. So this has been going
It's been
on.
going on for
I remember
years.
the first like the first aisle said something about like 1990s, like late 90s,
Yeah.
but it doesn't show you everything, but it approximately starts there, but there's so many files it could go back even farther far as you don't really
Well,
know.
probably the 90s would probably be the earliest, I'm thinking. But uh, let's see. So while he's going through that, he's finding out, he sees his brother was in the game in 2015. And I think his brother was actually the winner in
Yep,
2015.
he won.
So, and he didn't know anything about this. And he's seeing all this stuff in the files. And then it goes back to the game. We find out this fourth game that's taking place. They have to pick a partner, and they don't know what it is. They're just teaming up with someone. And once they find the person they want to work with, they shake their hand so they know that those two people are paired up. I forget the numbers of what they were, but there is a husband and wife in there, so of course
Yeah, I don't know what their numbers were, but yeah, the
but they're
husband
just
and
gonna.
wife.
Oh, I know that. I think the husband's was number 69 because later on the VIP was saying,
Oh
"Well,
yeah, yeah, his number
if I
was
couldn't have
69.
69, I'll pick 96." Yeah, so the husband was 69, which we'll get
Yeah,
to
I don't
that.
know what her number was, but yeah, he was 69.
Yeah, but I don't know what the wife's number
Yeah, I
was.
don't know.
But either way, they of course since they were married, they're going to be partners in this game. So everybody's getting paired up. Except for the crazy chick. Of course, no one wants to work with her. And the way she's acting and begging to try to say how good she is like turning
Yeah,
people off.
because they're assuming since there's an odd number
Number
that the person left out is getting
is going to be
eliminated. So
eliminated. Yeah, the person's going to be eliminated. And they all pair up. And uh, his friend 218 pairs up with 199, I believe his number
Yeah,
was.
218 and 199.
Nine pair up, and 456 is kind of like, oh, okay, because he was going to pair up with one of them,
One
since
of the
they're
random
close.
people
Yeah,
that, he's because a guy's like trying to talk to him. He's like, we're strong, we're guys, we can do this. And
yeah.
he's like, you better hurry up before everybody's taken. And he's like, what do you think happens? He's like, oh, probably get eliminated. And he's so he immediately thinks, the old man. So
Then he feels bad, so he ends up, even though he doesn't know the game, he decides to pair up with the old man, and they take them to the game room, and it's built up kind of like a neighborhood, like alleyways and houses, and like just a small neighborhood, and they're all handed a bag of 10 marbles. The old man says, oh, he knows marbles, and so at least this game, isn't about strength. They can just play marbles, and at first they're all like, yes, we'll take everyone's marbles, we'll win this. And then they hear the rules of the game, and the rule is that they can play any game that they want to get the marbles, and as long as they have 20, they win. But on the side that they didn't know, their so-called partner that they thought were going to work with, they have to play against them, and they have to get their partners 10
yeah,
marbles, and the partner will be eliminated. So that pretty much backfired on the people who thought they were working with a friend, or thought
right. Thought they were going to work together, but instead they have to work against each
they have to
other.
work against each other. um,
I wonder if
so
the husband and wife like actually played, or if they did like the girls did and discussed, well, maybe I can continue into the game and win, or maybe this or that, and just like discussed and decided, oh, I'm gonna die and you continue.
yeah, because
But we don't know, or if they played legitly and
neither of them won because they had 30 minutes to do this. And at this point, the old man was kind of all of a sudden like acting all senile and had dementia, and he wasn't playing the game, or he was having memories of, oh, this looks like my neighborhood, and 456 is like trying to get him to play, like, okay, we got to do this, and he doesn't understand what's going
yeah, and
on.
he's freaking out because he thinks this. He's like, "What do I would do? He's obviously got dementia. He won't play. What am I supposed to do?" He's like, "I'm trying to get him." So I don't know what would have happened if he wouldn't have actually went and played. Obviously he's going to because he wants to continue the game. But
Yeah,
I wonder if it's like a test for him too, because he's trying to test 456. Old man
yeah.
trying to test
Well,
456.
he was in a way testing him, because once they were playing the game, one of the game was where they would make a wager. They would guess how many marbles are in the hand, whether it's an odd number or even, and then whatever marbles they had in their hand to wager. If they got it right, they would get the odd or even amount numbers. If they lost, whatever they wagered would go to that person.
Yeah.
And he was telling the old man at one point, because he was just scared and wanted to live, and he's just like, whatever, I'm done with this crazy old guy, I need to
Right.
play this game. He lied to him and said, oh, you said even, and he's like, I did. Like, he was just tricking him so he could win the game, and he thought he had won at one point, and he still had one marble, and he's freaking out because he thought was gonna win. And the old man was saying, we'll make one more bet for total all of the marbles. The old man lost his marbles.
Yeah, all or nothing.
All or
And
nothing.
he's like, I
He's
don't want to do that. And
that's
then he calls
nonsense.
him out.
That's nonsense. And he's like, oh, even tricking a friend, because they had come to the term, like, before they were going to play, they were like talking, and they said the gambu or whatever, which means that they trust each other and they're good friends. And he's saying, you lied to a friend, and he's like, didn't know how to react to that. And so the old man was saying how, well, since we are gambu, they're for each other no matter what. And he ended up just giving the marble to 456. So of course 456, will win. And he's, crying. He hugs him, and he's all upset. And so we don't see it. So this is another little suspicious thing. Like, most everybody we see killed in this, and we don't see the old man get shot. Like, he's in like one of the buildings off to the side, and a soldier
Yeah.
supposedly shoots him and eliminates him. So 456, of course, survives it. 218 and 199,
Yeah.
that's a difficult situation because they were like,
Yes.
because that was the one where he bought the bus ticket for him and they were friends. And 199 didn't want to play and he was trying to get someone else. And he didn't understand the game like he was taught marbles because he was even saying when they first met he doesn't know these childhood games and they all said that they would teach him and help him figure out these games. And 218 almost thought he was cheating because he was getting all the wagers right odd even. It was like, it's a 50-50. And they're both freaking out and, saying how they're married, talking about their families, and one of them is supposed to die. And so 218 was saying how to find someone, or I forget, but he had a plan where they could both do
Yeah,
something
he had.
and both
Well, I think
survive.
it wasn't like a legit plan.
It,
He
it
was
was something
tricking him.
that's, well, he was tricking him, but he was trying to
But
come up
he's
with
like,
a plan.
not everybody's gonna die like this. So
They
you,
can't kill all of
some
us.
people are
So
not gonna
go
be finished
talk
with
to
their game. Yeah, go talk to them. Go find another one, and we'll play with them. And yeah,
something along
and
like
he
I know it was a
the
trick to get
yeah,
tricking
and
him. I just can't remember what the whole trick was, like to talk to people and try to get them to be
yeah,
together.
try to get somebody else to play in their game so they didn't have to play against each other.
Yeah,
But yeah, he tried to, but it was just manipulation to get him to go so he
so
could
he could
trick
take his
him.
marbles.
Yeah.
So what he did was he said that he'd hold on to the marble or protect him, or and he switched out the marbles with some stones, which we figure like a near closer to the end of the round for these two players. So he ended up betraying 199.
Yeah,
See,
that
he
that
went up to the
he was my
soldier.
favorite character and saddest death.
Yeah,
I really like, and even though he's super naive and believed like everybody,
yeah,
he was my favorite character. I loved him.
yeah. So it is, yeah, it was a shame he was tricked. It's like, I don't know. It's like, gosh, 218, that kind of sucks. Because he went up to the soldier and he's like, I got the 20 marbles and I didn't do any violence. I played the game. So it ended up when time was up, 199 was shot.
Yeah,
And then we
we don't
had,
see him get shot. Oh, never mind. We do. I take that back. We
yeah,
do see him get shot.
yeah. And then we have the two girls, 67, and I forget what the new one was,
240.
240. And she just 240 wanted to talk and like know her name and just like whatever we'll play like right at the end whoever.
Yeah, those basically play one game, winner take all, and they just wanted to talk, basically get to know each other. Why are they doing, or why are they here? What do they have to look forward to if they get out? And I think she kind of had that plan. It's like, let me get to know her, see if her life is worth more than mine, and then kind
Mhm.
of figure out what she wanted to do. Then she realized, 67 has,
A younger brother, no
yeah,
lineage, and her mom to get the house, and she didn't really have anyone, so it's like, well, what's the point of me living anyway? My life sucks.
right. So yeah,
So,
she threw the game, and girl 67 tried to get her to play again. She goes, it doesn't matter how many times we play, I'm not trying, basically.
yeah. All the game was like who could throw the marble closest to the wall, and then she just
Yeah.
like dropped it, and she's like, "Oh, Butterfingers," and she was like, "Oh, she's just like, let me have this. It was an honor playing with you." And so, yep. So 67 won that one, and
Man, that was, even though we just got introduced to 240 at Tug of War, that one was sad as well.
yeah,
But 199 I think was worse. That was definitely worse. 218 did him dirty.
yeah, that was so wrong. I mean, I know he was doing it to survive, but still,
Right,
it's
yeah.
like,
But 218 did some lot of dirty shit.
oh, he got worse too. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, and then of course 101 who we hate, snake eye tattoo, or snake tattoo there. And
Yeah.
uh the person he was playing with, he was losing at first and kind of like, all right, good, he deserves to die,
Yeah.
it's about time. And he was saying, oh, let's play another game. And he convinced the soldier, or the employee, to let him play another game. He's like, "Oh, isn't it about being fair?" So he allowed him to change the game, which I think is just stupid because he was losing. I don't really think he should have been able to change the game, but
Yeah.
he weaseled his way into that. And how they played was he dug a hole and they had to knock the marbles in, and he
Yeah, I
ended.
think it was kind of like curling, but not. But yeah, he had a hole, and reason I call it curling is because what happens at the end of the game. But yeah,
Yeah,
they basically dig a hole and they have to throw the marble, and you had to land inside the hole. If you did, you win all the marbles outside of the hole as well.
yeah. So, and of course, unfortunately, he ended up winning. So,
Hmm. But the reason why I call it like curling is because when random dude, threw his last marble,
it knocked his.
it rolled and knocked Tattoo Guy's marble into the hole, so he won. That's
Mhm.
kind of along the lines of curling, because curling, I think it's curling and croquet. If you hit somebody else's,
It counts for them
yeah,
because you knocked
right,
him.
it counts for them. So
Yeah.
so that's how that went. So he won kind of like that,
So I think that was the main ones that they showed for the survivors of that.
and that's when we
And
find out about 69, because the husband and wife team.
yeah, but I think that was like in the next episode. Like once all those
Yeah, it's possible.
survived.
Like I said, I didn't go by episodes. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, well, that was the end of six. There, we did it out of order, but we told of how each person, of the main team of how they survived. Um, but yeah, it had ended with 456 walking away from the old man's death. That was basically the end of that one. The next episode 7 is called the VIPs,
Which
and
they're interesting to say the least.
they kind of remind me of the Your Next mask, like a rabbit and panther. Like they had the
Yeah,
different
kind
masks.
of, but
Well, they were
excuse me,
glittery, but
glittery,
they were more yeah, designed and or
more
color.
pimped out.
Yeah, but like animal wise, so, yeah,
Yeah,
they're all animal masks. Um, so all of the dead bodies, they're being cleared out, and the front man, he's on his radio and he's asking if the intruder has been found yet. Uh, and they haven't found him yet, but he wants to, try to get taken care of before the VIPs arrive. The survivors, they head back to their room, um, and they're surprised when they go in. They see 212, the crazy lady. She's still alive.
yeah, she's absolutely
they
fine.
they thought that she would be eliminated because she didn't have a partner, and she's like, "Oh, it's the rules being left out. They don't want people to be excluded." So she didn't even have to play the game. So actually, being if someone was the odd one out, that would have been the best way anyway. But they didn't.
Right.
So then 17 players are revealed to be remaining now. The let's see, the 29, the detective, he almost gets caught from the front man. He was sneaking around. I don't know if he was still in the files or in the office, wherever the front man's office
Yeah,
is.
I think it's the front man's like little office area.
Yeah, because the phone was ringing and the front man picked it up and he hung it back up, but he realized like he hangs up the phone a certain way. So it was the opposite way. And he realized that whoever the intruder was, he thought was in the office. And he was saying that he knew it was a cop because the bullet that was pulled out of, I guess it was 28 that he had shot, the bullet belonged to a gun that was meant for police officers, Korean.
Yeah, that's what their standard issue
Their
of.
standard issue. So he figured out what was going on with that. Um, and then he gets a radio call, like, and he's really close. He's like almost like right around the corner from where he's hiding. But they said that they found a body washed up. And now this body, the detective was smart enough to put his ID on that. So they thought this, the detective was the person that was,
Chadwick's in
oh,
the
hey,
house.
yeah, I saw you type that. I was like, who was here? Hey, Chadwick, how's it going? We're talking right now about the seventh episode of Squid Games. So, if you watched it or not, there are many, many spoilers. We're going very, very, very in-depth episodes tonight.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, they found that body with his ID on there. So he did that sort of like throw him off, I guess. Think.
Right, which is very smart. If something else wasn't involved in this, it probably would have tricked him. If you
Yeah,
know what I'm going with, which I don't want to quite spoil yet.
yeah.
But yeah, if there wasn't a certain factor into this, then yeah.
Let's see.
Filming Malcolm 4 tomorrow. Nice. So good luck
Okay.
with that.
I still gotta check out the first one there. I haven't even seen it yet. But
Break a
uh,
leg.
yep.
I don't know if that counts for filming, but break a leg.
Well, for filming, break both legs.
I know you're supposed to say it for acting, but I don't know about filming.
Let's see. So after that, yeah, you were saying we find out something later on. It's actually the next episode, number 8, which we'll get into. But we go back to the room. Okay, so you got 3 of them out. Oh, I'm way behind then. I was reading what Chadwick said there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have to send me the link to them, and then I'll watch them when I can.
He's got I got them on YouTube on his channel, which is the same as his name, I believe.
Oh, okay.
If I remember correctly, I have to double check that. But I'm pretty sure if I'm going off memory without switching and looking, like messing up my tabs or creating a new one.
Well, hey, at least I'll have a lot of episodes to watch. So, but yeah, I definitely got to watch those though. I'm sorry, I just watch so much other stuff. But yeah, I'll definitely have to check them out though. Yeah, oh, you're looking up the link. Boom.
Oh no, I wasn't, but I can.
Oh, I mean, if you want to, I just didn't know. I saw you looking off to the side. I thought.
Well, I got like different things going on. I got my notes. I got this. I was keeping an eye on.
I mean, it didn't matter if you did or not. I just didn't know.
No, I was just looking at other things, but I can. I got it.
But yeah, it goes back to the room of the remaining players, and here's where we are. We're 69. He's all upset about his wife, and he tries to convince people to quit. And 218 is saying, well, all this would have been for nothing. I don't think any of us here would want to quit now. I mean, your wife will still be dead. There's no point of quitting. And also, of course, in this episode, the VIPs arrive. And when they greet the front man, the host misses out. So for whatever reason, the host of it, the front man's boss, saying there's like personal matters. So the front man is just, the host for the night and greeting him and all of that. And while they're about to play the game that night, what's going on?
That's me. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I post the link in chat, and then I send it to you as well to his YouTube, so you can find it.
Oh, okay, cool. I was like, oh, someone's.
Yeah, it's just me. I'm sharing links everywhere.
And then, well, since that's fine.
I didn't realize your phone wasn't on silent. My bad.
Whoopsie. Nah, I don't keep it on silent.
Oh, he has part 1 and 3 on his YouTube. And he said he's sending links too. Okay. Well, I have part 1. At least I think it was 1. I didn't see a number on it. Linked in the chat. If anybody's interested in that, definitely go check it out. What happened to 2? Why is 2 not on there? Just out of curiosity.
Hey, it's like the Thanksgiving movie. It goes Thanksgiving and Thanksgiving 3. There is no 2.
I was just curious because he had 1 and 3 on YouTube.
So, but yeah, 69. He ends up out of guilt killing himself, And what's funny is we're sort of mentioning how the VIP he bet on 69
Yeah,
because
because funny
he,
internet number.
he liked the he liked the number, and then he finds out he gets killed, and he's all like, "Fuck!" He's all
Yeah,
pissed
he's
off.
yelling and calling him a stupid son. Don't do you stupid son of a bitch.
And he votes later on. He switches. He's like he bets on number 96, and he's like, "Well, if I can't have 69, I might as well have 96." And they're all like, "Who invited this guy?" He's like, "Oh, I didn't. I thought you invited him." So who knows where this VIP came from? I just had money to show up. Apparently, who knows
Yeah,
how?
I think they kind of was just like hassling him at that. I think they may have kind of known him.
Yeah. Well, they would have to because I mean it's some random person there. Um, and the detective, he while he escaped the front man, he ended up uh, taking out one of the servants or caterers of the VIP party. So he put on, of course, another suit and mask to videotape. He had his phone. He was trying to gather as much information as the party as he could. And the one, I can't remember if it was the one who chose 69, that guy, he had a couple of, I don't know if one was a guy or if they were both women, painted up Panther, because I know he was leaning back to the chest of one woman who was just like there.
Yeah, there was a bunch of people painted like at different animals.
Yeah. So I don't know if I guess he's just bisexual, likes any attractive person, and he was coming on to the detective and wanted him to pour him a drink, and then he was like trying to get him to take off his mask, and he's like, "Oh, if you can satisfy me," and so he goes off with him uh, while this game is going on, and while there's the remainder players, what was it, 16 now? Um, they have an option. There's these mannequins, and it has 16 jerseys on there, and they're all told to pick a number, and they don't know what this number could be, and they're kind of worried. They're all just standing there because they know it's part of the game, but what does the number have to deal with it? So the front man throws a hint saying that is the order they will play the game in.
Yeah, because he wants to get him
Yeah.
to go because they're just standing there staring
Well,
at the
there were
number.
some that took the middle numbers, and the one like guy that was they called him the priest or whatever because he was always praying. He chose 6 because that was the day God created men, and then
Yeah.
I think 101 took like something from the middle, and that was the VIPs were saying that was like instinct, go with the herd, like stay in the middle.
Yeah.
So it was coming down to what was left was number 1 and number 16, and that's where number 96, which is kind of funny, which is the one guy's chose. He wanted to choose number 1. He was saying I picked last, but I've always been scared, so he ends up being number 1 for the game. And
Yeah,
then
because he would decided it was like I want to be first just once in my life,
yeah,
and you decided it. So the guy's cussing him out again.
he's like, no, don't be the first. So of course 456 was number 16, but it turned out better the higher the number for this game anyway. It was better to have the higher number.
Mhm.
It was a stepping stone game, except it was on glass, and one of the glass wasn't the tempered, it was weaker glass. They step on it, they would fall to their death. So all of the players would have to take turns. And of course, the first person up was number 96. He was the first one stepped on glass because he got 50-50 shot each time you're going through how far you can get to the other side. They would crash down.
Agree. That guy, definitely picking number one. If you knew what you were going into, picking number one would suck very
Yeah, and he
badly.
was like, "I want number 1. I've always picked last." Oh yeah, that's like
But like what 456 was saying, that that would be hard and even going last too, because time limit. Like you're saying, people get scared and everything. If they don't finish in time,
mm-hmm.
then you're out that way too.
So,
But of
so
course,
yeah. So they were each going, of course, against the glass. Number 96 was the first one to go. That was his mistake. Um, and while this game's going on, the detective was in the room with the one VIP, and the VIP was trying to get him to go down on him, and he's like, if you can satisfy me in 5 minutes, I can change your life. And I guess he wanted to like buy him and take him away from that island or whatever. And he grabs him, and then he puts the gun on him and says, "Yeah, I'll change your life too." And he's like,
Yeah, if you satisfy me in 5 minutes, I will
I'll,
change
I'll
your
let
life.
you, I'll let you live.
Oh yeah, I'll let you live.
And he's like, "Tell me everything you know about the game." And so he videotaped him so he would have it as evidence. And back to the game, everybody's freaking out as the glass is breaking. There's those who are they're starting to get closer now, but uh, they're still about a quarter or more than halfway. They still got a ways to go. And the one guy's thinking the math to himself, what are the odds? And he tries to run it, and he sort of makes it further than anyone has. Glass breaks. And of course, the asshole, when his time comes, there's a guy that went and goes, so they push him down into the glass. I forget which number it was, but they just wanted to go because time's running out. There is a just like any other game, there is a time limit that they have to make it across this.
I think it was the priest.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, the priest pushed down the guy because they couldn't believe that he, pushed him down, and here's how God was on his side. And but of course, then he gets pushed down as kind of a little domino effect. But what's great about this is it comes to the point 101, the asshole, and 212 are there, and he didn't want to go, and he was cutting down the time, so she was like calling him a coward and wanted to try to get him to go, and she said that she would go, and she grabs him and they go down together. So it was a fitting way for he was like,
because she even said that she was gonna kill him if he betrayed her, and she did. She kept her word. So killed herself in the process, but
killed them both. Yep.
But to be fair, if she was that crazy in like not like real life, but outside of the game, she probably would have done that if she hadn't already done it to her other boyfriends, because she seemed super clingy.
Yeah, she was.
And usually, you hear these stories about the girls or guys that, or it's
obsessed
usually guys,
and kill, and
they're super obsessed, and they end up killing because they don't want anyone other people to have them, or whatever stupid reason they come up with.
Suicide going on there, yeah. But so that opens up the door. There was like either 4 or 5 left after that, maybe 4. It was 67, of course, 218, 67, 218, 456. And then this guy, he was saying, "Oh, I can, lead the way. I know the difference between glass. I've worked in the business for 30 years."
So right. Yeah. That guy, just talked about that in chat. One guy worked in glass factory and was doing good until the game makers
changed the lights. Yeah, that's I mean,
they realized that he knew what he was looking for and was able to pick it out. So there's like, nope, you're not doing it this way.
That's not the way to play the game. So, but they got pretty close to the end with that. And now that's where we're coming. We were talking about how people change, and when it comes to being desperate, number 218, who we thought, was 456's friend, a good person, pushes the glass maker into the next one to finish it off. And he was like, "Why'd you do that?" He was gonna choose that. He's like, "Oh, they get into a fight later on about it." But so they make it after that, because there was only like one other one, or that was the last one before they made the jump across. So the 3 finalists are going to be the pickpocket, number 67, 456, and 218. They made it across, and after they make it across, they decide to like blow the bridge, and they just blow up, and all the glass, it just shoots all over the place. And they find out later on, but unfortunately, glass did stab number 67 because of the debris flying everywhere. So, also in this episode, before it ends, so we got our 3 finalists. The detective, he takes that video that he has, and he steals some diving equipment because he wants to try to get out of there and get the evidence out and get like a team to. Um,
Chadwick was just
yeah,
trying to
I
send
was
you the
reading that.
link
Yeah.
and saying it didn't work. So I was just letting him know that I put both those links in chat.
Oh, he was trying to put a chat in here. Okay, I thought he was trying to send
I think
something.
he was trying to Facebook message you, maybe. I think
Facebook.
that's what he's saying because he said my Facebook won't let me send you a
Yeah,
message.
that's why I was wondering. What about Facebook?
And then he's talking about the titles. Then he said, check out Alex Jarbo. I think that's how you say his name. And they are on his YouTube. But I put Chadrick's YouTube link and Alex Jarvo's YouTube link into the chat.
Okay.
So,
Okay. But I was just wondering, you were trying to Facebook message me because I don't know why it wouldn't send if you were
I
trying
wonder
to.
if you sent it to the one profile you made for a split minute while you couldn't log in or something. Or was that?
Oh, that. Yeah, I wonder if maybe that's it.
I don't know.
I don't know, but we can figure it out though later.
Yeah.
But yeah, Boom did share it in the chat, and so
Yeah, I put him in the chat, and I already sent your Chadrick's link to him. I still have, I think, that Alex Jarvo's link saved. I could probably send it to him before after we get done with this.
all right. So yeah, the detective escapes with some diving equipment, which he doesn't know at the time that it has tracking equipment in it. So even if he does escape, the front man does go after him. So that'll be the end of the VIP episode. Episode 8. This was like a shorter episode. It was only like a half hour. It was like the shortest one of the series. But this one was called The Front Man, where we actually learn about the front man
Right.
episode. So we have, of course, the 3 remaining players. They're led back to the room. June Hall. When they're in the well, let's go on too. I forgot. June Hall is the detective. I got his name written down there. I don't know why I did that when I was in the middle of saying. Sorry, I'm like mixing myself up. There's like 5 different things going on, but yeah, he makes it to another island before he's getting tracked down because of the tracker. But the remaining players, they're back in the room, and 456 gets into it with his friend 218. Like, why the hell did you push that guy? He was helping us, and he was like, oh, what if he was taking time? And like, he totally changed. He's like, yeah, stop opening up your mouth. And he was seeing a different side of his friend that who he thought was a good person is turning like the rest of them, just all for himself and doesn't really care what's going on.
Right, which I think he was pretty much like that for most of the game, is he was hiding it from the person that he knew in real life.
Well, then again, like, also remember I was saying about the whole honeycomb thing. Like, he sort of figured out what the game was in his mind. He knew, because when he heard that what was being cooked, the honeycomb, and he saw the shapes, he sort of got an idea. That's why he was like, "Oh, I'll take this shape because that'd be easier to."
Right. Of course, he didn't know like the outcome or
Yeah,
what
he didn't know
what
that
they were doing, but yeah, he did figure out what the shapes were going to be. Those honeycomb thingies, what I guess are just called honeycomb.
Yeah. So yeah, he was hiding stuff throughout it, and of course, 67. She was hiding the fact that she was stabbed by glass. She didn't want to see
Right.
him.
She was afraid to show herself weak because she didn't trust. Even though 456 had been with her throughout the thing and tried to help her, she still didn't trust him, and she definitely didn't trust 218.
Yeah, that's on that part. I don't blame her.
Right.
So, and they were all. One of the employees came down and was saying that to go change, they have like a little reward. So they go upstairs, and they were given a steak dinner. And of course, after that little interaction between them after the game, it's just like a really silent, awkward dinner, staring at each other, not trusting each other, giving each other looks. And after the dinner, one of the employees are clearing off the table. They leave a knife for each of them to take with them. So they pretty much want them to, like, I guess, kill each other, or give them ideas that they have a knife, they can do whatever they want with it.
Right.
So that's part of the final there. Let's see what chat we say. I've never seen this show before. I've gotten into Blacklist. Oh, Blacklist. I started watching that, and I forget what season I left off. I might rewatch it. But yeah, Squid Game is really good. So
yeah,
you're getting some major spoilers since you haven't watched it.
Right, yeah, especially tuning in towards the end, you'll know what happens before we start it. But yeah, it's very good. It's Korean. It's very messed up.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. If you like, there is a lot of gore. There is kids games. There's really kind of kiddish type music.
Yeah.
There's drama. All sorts of stuff in this.
So I didn't know. Yeah, we didn't know you didn't see this. We thought you might have. I don't know. So because, like we said, major spoilers.
Yeah.
So
definitely major spoiler, especially now we're getting towards the end. You're finding out everybody's kind of agenda, basically.
Yeah. About to reveal something really big, so I don't know if you want to stick around.
Right, yeah. If you are gonna watch this, you might not want to. We would love to have you, but unless you don't mind spoilers.
So,
if you don't mind spoilers, then whatever.
Stick around, yeah.
We're trying to be helpful. We would love for people to listen, but we don't want to like hurt anybody's viewing ability, like being able to enjoy
they haven't seen it yet. So
right.
Let's see. So yeah, I was saying they all had the knives. So then we go back to the detective who's he's escaped onto this island, and he's being tracked by the front man and some other of the PlayStation Posse group employees. He's trying to send. This is the point where he was trying to send the text and all of his notes and video and call the chief, and he does get through, but there's like really bad signals, so he sort of hears them. He's like, what do you mean send that back up?
Chad said he'll go then. And he's got a long day tomorrow anyway.
But okay, yeah, have a good night then. So
but yeah, he's having to try to send these off as best he can, and
he's like climbing up the hill. Yeah. It's almost like a Verizon commercial. Can you hear me now? So yeah, he's escaping, and the front man at first tells the people not to kill him. And they track him down to like the edge of the cliff there, and he tells the detective about how he only has one bullet left because he knows the standard, however many, there's like 5 bullets and a blank bullet for whatever.
Yeah, I don't understand that one. I don't know if that's real or if not. I don't know. Obviously I've never studied to be an officer, especially when in Korea, but I don't know. It
might have been just for the show. Maybe, I don't know.
It's probably for the show, I would think, because
why would they have a blank bullet? Why would they have a blank bullet?
Right, unless you're in a firing squad, yeah.
Yeah, if you're practicing.
But he's a detective. He's not a firing squad. Now, firing squads, yeah, they do carry blanks. It's like only one gun has real bullets or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Don't ask why I know. I watch a lot of strange shit.
Yeah. But either way, whatever. And he tells him, you can still live. Just do what I say. And him, being the detective, he was saying how, backup's on the way, blah, blah, blah. And the front man was like, yeah, we know the Korean police, how slow they are. And it probably didn't even go through with the signal the way everything is. It's not going to be traceable. And he ends up shooting the front man. And so I guess that was his last bullet. And he was like, who the hell are you? And he takes off his mask, and it turns out the front man is his brother. So he's freaking out. It's his brother. He just doesn't know what's going on, and he's like, "Why are you doing this?" And he doesn't really get an answer. His brother ends up just shooting him, and he's fallen off the cliff. And that was it, because he refused to join him, and he knew who he was now, and he couldn't let him get away with what was going on. So
yeah,
he just
ended up. He does only shoot him in the shoulder.
Yeah,
but he does take a big fall. There is rumors that I've seen float around, because he didn't actually, we don't actually see his body. He doesn't actually die.
That's true. We
That
don't see
there
his
is
body.
rumors, which I haven't seen anything like concrete, like any of the links saying when it got announced that he was being in it or not. But when it first was shown, aired, there was rumors going around that he will come back in the second one.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's why I call it
It's a
rumors.
possibility though because he was shot in
Right,
the
it is a
shoulder.
possibility, and we know something else that happens. I won't quite say yet because we're not there, but we know something else. The somebody else is going to be in it, so you never know.
Let's see. So yeah, so he falls off the cliff there. So the other three, let's see. So yeah, they all take the knife back with them. The brother.
And 456 realizes that she's dozing. 67, the pickpocket's dozing off.
Oh
So
yeah, that they
yeah,
should.
so he goes over to her with the knife, and so she thinks he's there to hurt her, and he's like, "No, I just got protection for 218 over
That
there."
psychopath. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, "I'm not gonna hurt you," and he shows her. He puts the knife in the pocket, and then he realizes there's something wrong, and for some reason he thinks these people are gonna help.
Yeah.
And
Well, they
so
do have
he
the conversation though, about something about the family that he said that, or she wanted if anything happened to her to take care of her family, vice versa,
right,
and all
but
that. Like,
he thinks for some odd reason that the
people are going to help.
PlayStation people are gonna take her to a doctor and get her fixed. Why he thinks that after everything he's seen, that he thinks that they're going to fix her, I have no clue why he even thinks this. But he tries, bangs on the door, and that's 218 being a sneaky son of a bitch.
He just goes and kills her.
Yeah,
So, and see, he should have been the one that was killed. Well, of course, there wouldn't be another episode, but
right.
he was gonna. He was almost gonna kill 218 because he was dozed off and dropped the knife. But 67 said, "You're a good person with a good heart. You can't do that," and so he didn't do it, and that ended up that effect there. So
Yeah, and then next episode. Oh, never mind. I'll wait. So that's next episode.
but yeah, that's pretty much the end of that episode. The killer, and they're about to get into a fight, and they're separated. And the last game is pretty much about to start, and the next episode is called "One Lucky Day," and that's when they play the final game between the two that are there. And of course, it ends up being the title of the show,
Squid Game.
Squid Game, where they had to play what they played as a kid. And the front man is even telling like the VIPs that this is like the most violent game, anything can go.
The way it sounds like each time they have one of these games, they have different games because the VIPs had to be explained about the games. They didn't know what the games were before they watched them. And we obviously know from the detective being in the file room that these have been going on for at least 20 years.
Yeah.
So they've been going on for so long, so they must have different games
Yeah.
each time.
But
So I wonder if they do it like
it might
round up.
be, well, yeah, it's probably different games. But for this time, whether it changes or not, I can't say for the past, years of games. But like once all their beds were removed, like once you see against the wall, if you look at the paintings, all the paintings on the wall are like the games. You see a painting of like the tug of war, or like with them on a tower, like all the games are represented in paintings. So like they probably could have figured it out if they saw paintings on the wall, like what they would have.
Right, or realize what those paintings were supposed
Or
to
if they
be.
knew what the paintings were supposed to be. It had like the stepping glass on there and everything.
Oh, really? I didn't even notice that.
The stepping stones. If you go back, like once you see all the wall, there's all these different paintings, and you can tell each one represents one of the games that they played. But of course, you're not gonna look around at the paintings and think, "Oh yeah, this will be a game."
They do this each year, so they're gonna have to clean up anyway. So they might change that too. But you get hints in the game that this is not because the guards don't know unless they change the guards out each time. But how many bad guys can you get to cover up this shit? So,
Right.
so I mean, eh. So yeah, I would assume that the guards would stay the same. They would come back
Yeah.
each year. Obviously,
But I mean, they
because
might have new ones too, because remember the one part where the kid was unmasked and he was killed anyway because frontman was saying that if they see your face, you're dead.
right,
So
and the
that
front
kid was
man,
obviously new. Yeah.
right, and the front man was a winner, so he's obviously came back.
In 2015. Yeah.
Right. So I don't know how they
But
convinced.
I wonder how they make a winner. Like, it's weird. Like, maybe it's
Right, as like does so has he been front man since 2015, or do they like let other winners choose if they get to be front man? Do they alternate?
But how could you convince someone who played the game to become the front man? So that's what made him become the front
Unless he
man.
was somebody like
More
one of
money.
the bad guys, like 101, the tattoo guy, or
Yeah.
um, trying to think, like 218. I think he would have did it.
Yeah. He
I
probably
think
did.
he was just shady enough to do it. But yeah,
Well, he thought we forgot to mention this, but like he told his mom that he was on business trip or whatever, and she didn't even know because he had graduated. I forget what school, but like he was
yeah, it was
high up
some big popular
in
school. We'll call
business.
it like Harvard for us, but it
Yeah,
was,
like a business school, and
yeah, it was some big popular.
he was supposed to be really smart, and then it turns out he was like scamming people, and his mom didn't know, and it was kind of funny because there was like a woman, she was telling how great her single son was and how he sends presents, and then all of a sudden the cops come up saying how he embezzles all this money and how they're trying to
Right.
find him. So yeah, he wasn't really a good person to begin with
Right.
anyway.
And I don't remember which episode you find out, but you find out that he owes more money than what even the people at the games have said that he owes. And he's like put up his mom's house and I believe business
Mm-hmm.
as collateral.
And the futures and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Which, yeah, that's shitty.
so yeah, but they're playing Squid Game for the final battle between the two for the money, and 456 he won the coin toss and he decided to be the offense on it. And when he goes through, he had picked up some sand and he threw it in his face so he could get to the point where he could like stand on 2 feet. And it's just pretty much after that they're just fighting each other and they don't even care. They just want to kill each other, basically,
Right.
because they know they have no choice. And his one friend stabbed him in the leg, and they're just fighting through. And he beat him up so much he started 456. That is, he got to the point uh, where he had what's the word? Think, never mind. Basically, beat him up so he couldn't, come to the final part of the squid where he had to go to claim victory. And he took the knife and he stabbed it behind his head. He didn't want to kill him, and so the VIPs are all like, "Oh, this is over." He won because he's about to go ahead and enter the head of the squid and shout victory. And he ends up deciding that he doesn't want to do it. He says he can't do this, and all the VIPs are like, "What the fuck's going on? He's going to end this. Like, he can win the money, and he's going to say no at this time." And he tries to convince his friend, like, let's not do this. I don't want to do this. Let's just concede and go home. And his 218 is like talking about some memories like when he was a kid and his mom's cooking, and he felt bad after he realized, even after he did all this to his friend, that he's wants them to both go, and he ends up apologizing and stabbing himself in the neck with a knife, killing himself. And as he's dying, he's telling 456, to take care of his mom after everything that happened, betting the business and all that. So 456 on default, because of another suicide, basically wins the whole game.
Yeah.
So, which is crazy. It's like, after all that.
and he even wanted his so-called friend to live. I mean, it was fitting. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sad that he kind of disappeared.
Right, yeah, definitely we're not gonna miss him.
So, but just a way to go after all that. You're just gonna kill yourself, and so he won the 45 billion, uh,
Yeah,
45 billion 599
a lot of
99.
money.
Yeah, yeah, I got it written down. It was like 45 9999 00000. Yeah, yeah, a lot of money. Whatever, it was a billion. So basically a billionaire.
Right.
And so since he had won, the front man had him blindfolded in a limo and was talking to him and telling him, it's just a dream. And like 456 was like, why the hell you do all this? And he's like, well, you bet on horses. You're our horses. We bet on people. And 456 is just, traumatized from this whole event. And he wants to know who these people are. Like he's, thrown out onto the street, and this guy that's like preaching or whatever finds him and unties him. And so he's home, and there was like a card. I think the card was like shoved in his mouth.
Yeah, it was in his mouth
It
because
was like
the priest, or I don't know if he was a priest, but he was preaching religion
preaching on the street. Yeah,
and so he takes some like the duct tape or whatever it was off his mouth,
and he had a bank
yeah,
card.
he threw up the card because they shoved it in his mouth.
And the bank card had all the money on there.
Yeah.
So he had taken 10,000 out, and he saw all the money in his account, and then it like goes through. It's a year later, and he's like depressed. What's going on? He's actually living how he was before. He just put the money into the bank, like he doesn't even want to use it.
Yeah.
Because it's basically just blood money, and he just can't live like that. And he's like invited to the bank, and like even the investor guy was saying, you've had this money here for so long and you haven't even spent it, and not knowing what's going on. And he's just like, whatever. And he I can't remember if he gets his haircut prior or after.
He gets it done after the bank, if that's what you mean.
Well, I mean, when he sees the old guy, I can't remember, but he gets a card again after the year. It might have been after.
Yeah, I think it was after, because
yeah, it was after, because he had still gone to the bank, and he got another card with the same symbol, the triangle, the PlayStation, symbols on there, and he was told to meet in this tower, Skylight Tower, 7th floor, or something like that. And when he goes inside, there's someone lying in a hospital bed, and as he gets closer, we see that it's the old man, number one, and he's asked him for some water. And of course, 456 is like freaking out, like what the hell's going on? You're part of this, or because he thought he was dead,
Right? Yeah, it's the last person he expected to see, because he heard a gunshot as he was walking away.
So he tries to get him to explain what's going on, and we just get a brief explanation saying how he makes a living lending money. He's so rich he can do whatever he wants, and that he's basically bored just because he can do anything he wants. So when he got together with some other people, and of course he doesn't name the other people, or we don't find anything out, but he says that they want to have some fun, and so that's basically why they created the game. And he makes another wager with them that he'll tell him what's going on. Well, he like asked him also what else was real, and of course the tumor was real. He really was dying, like, so all that stuff about his health was true. None of that was a lie. Everything about the neighborhood. So if he tells him, if he wants to find out the truth, that there's another wager, and I believe it was by midnight, there was a guy sitting outside, another drunk. If no one helped him, proving that there's like no hope for humanity, they don't care about each other, that no one's going to help this guy by midnight, he loses. And if someone helps him by midnight, he wins. And at first people are passing him by and nothing's going on. So, he thinks he's going to lose, but just before midnight, there is someone, and it was the person, I think it was the same person who like kind of went up to the person, looked.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Had come back with a cop, trying to get him to help and get up there. And so he was happy that he actually won the bet, and he was right. There is some hope for humanity, and he's hoping to hear the rest of it. He's like, you see that, and the old man died. So even though he won, he can't get his information. So we know absolutely nothing of the people.
Yeah. And he blamed him basically dying on purpose so he wouldn't have to tell him. He's like, you saw that, didn't you?
He goes, you saw that. Yeah. So that was like the last thing. He goes, I was right. So he died just on time before the bet. Like, he knew he was dying. That's basically why he was getting him there. So he was just, in a way, taunting him, like sort of letting him know, but not really, and just fucking even more with him, basically. Mm-hmm. So after that, he decided to use he of course, he got his hair cut and he dyed his hair a reddish color, and he goes to see number 67's brother at the orphanage, and brings him over to 218's mom, because she's alone, and they both need a family, and he gave his half, his friend's half of whatever the money would have been to help her out, and goes off to the airport. There's a whole nother scene. We don't know where he went off to, and she found the money in the suitcase as she was like trying to unpack the kids' stuff. So she's freaking, and now she's got all this money. And I guess 456 is just gonna go over to the U.S., and see his daughter, because we see him at the airport. He's talking to his daughter, saying that he's on his way and he's got a gift, and lo and behold, he hears someone getting screaming or slapping, and he looks and he sees the salesman playing a game.
Yeah, and the salesman recognizes him and just kind of like looks at him,
he
acknowledges that he won.
And he acknowledges that he knows him, and he tries to run down and go, and he tells the salesman already leaves, but whoever the man was that was playing the game, I guess they do this every year, and this was the time, I guess, that it was happening. They were starting up again, recruiting people. He tells them not to go, and he takes the card away from the person, and he calls the number, and they ask, the information, name, if you want to play, state your name and birth date. So he does, and like number 456, they knew it was him, and he was like, I forget exactly what he says, but he goes, we're not horses, and I want to know who you people are, why you're doing this. He just, all this time this year, he's just been thinking about getting revenge on these people, and whoever was on the phone might have been the front man, who knows, but advised him that he should just get on the plane. That's it. Just mind your business.
And they still knew what, they were still tracking him, basically hint. We still know what you're doing, where you are.
Go see your daughter. Yeah, we know who you are. Like, well, whoever plays the game, whether they win, or even when they said, like, when people didn't return to the game, to track them, to keep an eye on them. So these people are always being tracked anyway, regardless of who they are. So he hangs up the phone, or he doesn't get on the plane, and that's it. So that's the end of the season. So basically the next season, probably, whether they start it with another game. I was reading some stuff like they have an idea for it, but they don't know if it's going to be picked up, if it's going to come in next year or the year after. So there's not really any set date for it, but I'm hoping.
I want to say the poster I saw, which had number 456 on it, I want to say it said 2022.
But then I saw something that wasn't 22. It's probably going to be 23. I don't know, but
it could be pushed back too. But I know the poster I saw said that. At least I think it said that, but it might have been 23 too. But
hopefully it was an actual poster, not a fan made poster too. You know how sometimes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. I don't remember where I saw it. Let's see.
But yeah, that's the last episode, the end of the season, and that sums it up. So yeah. Well, 2 hours, over 2 hours, we got all 9 episodes. So, yes, indeed.
Who do you think's going to be running this? Like, is going to be like a different a VIP, or do you think it's going to be we'll call him the black mask guy,
the front man? Well, it might still be the same front man who's there. Who knows? Unless they switch off, like who knows? Because, like you said, it's
Yeah,
different
because the
years.
front man technically wasn't running it. They called it the
Well,
host, which was
actually,
the old
though,
man.
well, he was the host or whatever. He was like part of whoever started it, I
Right.
guess. Well, you know how they. Well, we were saying, whether they pick a winner, like for the front man, because since the brother was a winner in 2015 and he was the front man, like who knows? Maybe they'll try to make him the front man, or maybe they'll try to turn him. Who knows?
Right.
I mean, I
I
don't. I
guess this
mean,
poster doesn't have a date on it. I'm remembering that wrong, but it was shared by somebody that covers like new. God damn my stupid Facebook. Scroll back down. I hate this when you click something and then it like brings you farther up than where you were. You come back, I'm like, I didn't ask for this. A page called Film Junkie. Share at least where I got it from. I was thinking there was a date on it unless I saw a second poster. But I maybe they would share fan work, you don't know, but
yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. You know how sometimes like
right, yeah.
fan poster fake art of the movies that are coming out and aren't, or yeah. But I'll find out. But it should be interesting to see him go back. And then if that detective isn't dead too, if they decide to bring him back.
Right.
So,
That's what I think. I think Dude 456 is going to go back and they are going to meet up with the cop, the detective, which they've already met up, so they're going to recognize each other.
yeah.
So I think they're going to team up and go and try to infiltrate. And that's just my opinion on what's going to happen. I haven't seen nothing about it, but I think they are going to team up and go after it because there's nobody really else besides obviously the front man that will probably be in it, and maybe the VIPs or new VIPs, who knows, but like returning characters.
Yeah.
Because obviously none of the other ones can return unless they have flashbacks.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Did you have a favorite character?
I know I had some favorite deaths because I couldn't stand them.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I agree there. But yeah,
I don't know if I don't know if I had a favorite character. I sort of, I mean, like personality wise, of course, like 456, like they were the more, humane humans, that
right.
group.
I was indifferent on him.
But
I was like, I kind of liked him, but I kind of didn't.
yeah, because there was other points where it was like, hey.
Yeah, he kind of was sketch a couple times, but my favorite was Ali 199, and he was my saddest death. I don't know. I really liked him.
He just believed him. He was naive. He was just like, yeah.
Yeah, he was super naive, like super almost childish, but in a way. But yeah, I thought he was cute. I liked him. Not like cute, but like when they showed his wife and kid, she looked, well, obviously for that culture it probably was, but she looked super young. Because I think they said that he was like 33, 35, something like that. And he looked young too, but when you see the wife, she looks like really young. Like nowhere near his age. But that's that culture too. But
yeah.
But she doesn't look like she's a jailbait material or something. She just looks a
No,
lot
no.
younger. I'm trying to think how I wanted to word that. What do you think that he decided to change his mind on the plane and go back to the game, or instead choosing it over the daughter?
So, yeah. Well, I try to figure, like, even when he told the person is not a horse, they're when that was told to him the first time back the year before and everything, like I knew, like, even though the way it ended, he, had some feelings he wanted to try to get them, or he had debating thoughts, because obviously he went back, he didn't spend the money and he kind of went through that drunk phase again, but he still wanted to go after them. And once he saw them and everything, that just like kicked in the motivation to be like, fuck these guys, I'm gonna go to,
Get my revenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like he didn't even second think it. Yeah, he chose that over the daughter.
Yeah.
Like, but he never really seemed to be that much into it. I mean, he did try a little.
Yeah.
But he wasn't. I
Like,
don't know. I don't think he was quite there
if
yet.
he wanted to be more, I mean, not to say he didn't want to be involved, but if he could have done more in the beginning, even before the game, like to try
Yeah,
to
that's what I was trying to
family
get with trying to say is like
to
he doesn't
already
hate her or try to avoid her. I mean, he does somewhat try, but he's not
trying hard enough to
right. Yeah, he doesn't have it like
together.
ingrained in him that he's a dad. Like he realizes he's a dad and he does love and try to take care of her, but it's like he doesn't want the responsibility
Yeah.
and basically be tied. I'd hate to say tied down because I don't know if that's the word. Why are you? My phone just started like recording what I was saying,
Oh no,
and like words just started popping up because I got this chat screen on here to keep an eye on things, so I don't have to like flip to another tab or whatever. But it just started recording. I didn't even touch it.
oh, you're being tracked. So, but yep. So it should be interesting next season, whatever they may do.
Right.
Yep. So let's see. Next week we got Chanel Ryan coming on, so that'll be fun. Then Tuesday the 12th at 7, Nathan Beazle, who was Leslie Vernon. And
I'm
then,
excited for that one. I love that movie.
yes, Behind the Mask. So, I can't believe they didn't have a sequel. I was so disappointed.
Yeah. And I never did realize it before, but my sister-in-law was saying that he looked like Kevin Bacon. I didn't even put it. I was like, yeah, he does.
Someone said that it was either Instagram or Facebook, or I forget who it was. They said he looked
Yeah.
like Kevin Bacon, and I was,
Yeah, that's my sister-in-law.
okay. So she was the one that said that. Okay.
Yeah, she's like put like a picture of Kevin Bacon in my post, and then I saw that she commented on yours too. And well, she's not technically my sister-in-law yet, but I just make it simple. I'll just call it sister-in-law. But I seen that she commented that
And I
on
was
yours
saying, oh, he's
too.
going to be our guest next week. I was like joking around. Okay,
Right.
I didn't know you knew her. Okay.
Yeah, I knew her.
Okay.
But yeah, I was like, yeah, I didn't realize that he does kind of resemble him. That's
in
a
that picture,
compliment, though.
anyway, that
Yeah.
one picture. But yeah. And then let's see. Well, who else we got going on? The 23rd, but I'm not sure. Is that next Saturday? I'm trying to remember what the dates are. I know Jenny Russo will be coming back on. It's the 18th. I'm looking at the numbers wrong. I don't know, but everything's posted up. But for the next week though is just Chanel Ryan and Nathan Beazle. So those will be the
And I got my notes as long as I'm not wrong. Jenny Rosso, April 23rd.
Yeah.
And Nathan is April 12th. Chanel's April 9th.
Yeah.
And that's the only ones I have in my notes, unless I'm missing some. Excuse
me.
Well,
the 30th, Maria Olson will be coming on too.
Oh yeah, I forgot to put her in.
But I was just going to say, did we have the 18th open? Did we skip a week? That's why I was trying to figure out the day, because well, either way, we'll figure it out. But that's everyone who's coming up though. So far. So, yep.
Putting Marie in my notes because I forgot her. I could swear I had her in my notes unless I accidentally deleted it. What day? Let's see. I may have skipped another person, but yeah, I got the 23rd, 12th, and 9th. So 9th, 12th, and 23rd, and now the 30th.
Okay. Oh, so I guess we got the 18th open, or we'll just
Possibly, or I didn't put a note in, which
Well,
is
no, I
better.
don't. Well, I don't have no. That's all who I have down. So
Okay.
yeah, I guess maybe we just skipped a week. They couldn't do the 18th, maybe. But that's okay. Well, I guess we'll figure something that out.
Oh,
What do
maybe
you-
because didn't Nathan have to be during the week and not the weekend? So maybe that's where we're messing up.
Oh yeah, because the Tuesday instead of a Saturday, and so we
Yeah.
still have a Saturday open. Okay.
I think that's what it is.
Okay, so yeah, so we'll either figure out someone or another theme show. So whichever. But of
Yeah.
course, we'll get it taken care of, and we'll announce on the Facebook group what we got going on for that week. So,
Nice, nice.
yep. All right. So I guess we'll end it on that, and I'll see everybody next time. And be sure to check out the Facebook group, Chadwick's that Malcolm link as
Chasing
well.
Malcolm.
Chasing Malcolm link. Yep.
Or changing Malcolm. Oh, it's changing Malcolm, chasing Malcolm, and catching Malcolm.
Okay, so each one has a different name there. Okay.
Right.
Alrighty then.
And then I don't know. Can you see the links when you do playback? I've never looked. I don't know. I'm assuming you could see the chat. Maybe I don't know.
Well, I know you can see the chat. I've seen the chats and the link, so I guess the link should
Okay.
be there too.
I mean on playback. If they
Yeah.
play it back.
Oh, I'll have to check, but I know I've seen like on the playback there's been chats, so
Okay.
it should be there.
Gotcha.
But then there's other ones I think that it didn't show, or like the chat wouldn't show up. I don't know. It's weird. I'll have to figure that out. I'll have to figure that out. Whatever.
I don't usually have time to watch playback. And even when I do the editing, I skip. I'll just like, because when I put it in my editing program, I could see like the wavelengths of the voices, so I can skip to where I see it like flatline or like different things. So I can skip.
Wherever's the flat
I was like,
line,
okay, this is flat. I'll play it for a little bit, cut it, play it for a little bit, cut it to where I need to, and so I don't have to listen for the whole 2 hours. It still takes me a couple hours to do it, but
Yeah.
it's just a lot easier. I just kind of skip along where I could see the wavelengths. So I was like, okay. So I don't have time to watch it again, unfortunately. But I
Right.
think it still counts as a view when I download it.
It
But I
should.
usually have it open. I got it open in 2 spots right now, so I'm 2 of your views anyway.
Woohoo. Well, that's okay. I mean, we're talking about spoilers tonight anyway, so
Right, yeah.
I wasn't really sure how many people would show up for that. So, or listen to it later. Maybe they'll catch the replay.
Right, but it's been out for like over a year, so most people have seen most. I'll say.
Well, I finally just now watched it.
Right, that's why I
mean,
say
it took
most.
me over a year to watch it. So.
Right, yeah. Chadrick said he hasn't seen it. So
I was surprised he showed up. I like when he was in here. We're talking about. I figured he just saw it, but then he said he hadn't seen it. I'm like, oh well, well then, you're getting a lot of info, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yep. All right. Well, have a good night and see you next time.
Alrighty.
Bye.
Bye.